Ja. Markiert eller? Tempo.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
This morning I'm sharing the stage with guinea fowl, and quite a few of them, as you can see. They're sharing the stage with guinea fowl and barking dogs in a residential area here in Somerset West.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
And on we'll go. We'll grow in number with thunder. From the wastelands to the highways. And on and on. Welcome back, folks. It is Friday. TGIF. Yeah, that's right, TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday, or thank God it's Friday, folks. Welcome back to the program. It's Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Fresh off an early wake up this morning and an interview with Athol Trollope. You can see an excerpt of that interview on the channel published. I dropped that video a short while ago. Athol Trollope explaining that, in fact, the question asked of John Steenhuisen wasn't unique to John Steenhuisen. It was asked of every minister in the government of national unity. So there you go, folks. Good to know. And we have much more coming. There'll be a few more videos dropping from that interview on different subjects, as well as the entire interview, hopefully by Sunday. Takes a little bit of time in editing, but I did the interview a short while ago, was able to edit the first portion and get that up, and I hope you find that interesting. Answers a number of questions many of us have had here abroad and those in South Africa about what's going on in Parliament. Why these questions? Well, there you have it. So let me say hello to everybody in the chat, the usual suspects. It's time for our Kaiser Sose moments. Welcome, Richard Kuhn and James Bowie, Vilma Rasmus, Chris Sten, Monray Siebertson from Cape Town, Erica in from Cape Town as well. Odd saying that. Erica was in Amazon for such a long time. Neville Purden there. How's your mom today, Neville? Erica, once again, said hello. Pablo Charlie from the Netherlands. That's before we even got started. Since we've got going here, Arc Precision has written in here. Trevor Bush, Dylan Combrick, always there, Dylan. Smee again is back again. Garrett Gillich in from Somerset West, one of my favorite places. And then Leah Minar. Leah, how are you today in this lovely new year? Richard says hello. Okay. And then who is the handsome guy in the video? That is me, that devastatingly handsome. Don't you know that in Africa I'm known as the devastatingly handsome white man? Marilyn is here. Marilyn, how's Lindsay? Good to see you there. How are the grandkids? Please say hello from Santa for me. We've got Shawnee Grows in from Minnesota. She's glad she made it to Friday. Yeah, I hear you. And Ronaldo's here. Replug the mic again. I already replugged it. No, that's on your end, buddy. Nothing wrong with the microphone, but I'll do it. You're just being smart. Nothing wrong with this sound. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever. There you go. Hey, Ronaldo, how's it going? What's up there? A former member of Parliament interviewed someone from your neck of the woods today, Athol Trollop from the Action SA party. So Richard Lemmer, it's been a few days since you've been here. Thank you. The fires of California are very disturbing. Yes, Erica, what's happening in California is very disturbing. And quite frankly, it's overwhelmingly the consequence of human action and human inaction. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. We've got some stories on the fire in California, the fires, I should say. Obama and Trump sharing some laughter. Yes, they were laughing and were saying, hey, two-term president, how are you? And he's going, I'm fine, two-term president, as no-term president Hillary Clinton sat behind them. And one-term Joe Biden was giving the eulogy. Ronaldo said, let me guess, he bitched about how the public took their cheap shot. Nope. He answered the questions I put to him, and there's more to come. Some of these questions are very pointed. I asked about Herman Mashaba's behavior. He answered. He said he can't speak for Herman Mashaba, and I expected that, but he gave his opinion on what's going on. That's there. We talked a bit about land reform, and we've agreed to do a future long interview on land reform, specifically in farming in South Africa. So there you go. I also took a little dig at Athol Trollop, so he was a cattle farmer, and as a dairy farmer, I said we were envious of you lazy cattle farmers, you cowboys with your hats, riding horse around while we're up at 5 o'clock in the morning milking cows. Dealing with mastitis and scours. Anyway, but so it was an enjoyable conversation, and he was very generous with his time. He got delayed at a birthday celebration, but he did show up. I had to cancel the initial stream because I had it going, but he came up and we got it done, and it was a fantastic conversation, I think. So there you go. Ants is back. Good to see you there again. Boy, we got PE contingent is quite large on the program. Appreciate it. Cape Town and PE are well represented here. I'm not so sure in Gauteng. We used to have a lot of viewers in Gauteng, but they all seem to be too busy with life. Not so many of them floating around here. Chris Marie is one of those folks from Gauteng, but an awful lot of people from Gauteng don't seem to be pitching up anymore. We never see Herman Ruas. Must be busy growing tobacco or something else. And a whole lot of other people don't see. Mike is in here. Awkward Leon is in. Okay, that's right. Awkward Leon, you're correct. You are in Gauteng. I forgot about that. But you weren't in the chat, so I didn't see you there. And there's Mike from Pennsylvania. We used to have a number of viewers from Pennsylvania, one from Western PA. Jessica or Becky used to be in here all the time. She's busy with life and raising kids now, so we don't see her. But welcome to everybody that's here. Yes, Johannesburg is a mess. You are correct, Dylan. And that's one of the topics of my conversation with Athol Trollop, which will come up in the full interview. Herman is not Gauteng, he is Northwest. Correct. He's in Brits. It's Northwest. But I mean, it's north. It's just outside of Pretoria, It's close. It's closer to Pretoria than it is to Rustenburg, trust me. Anyway, but yes, you're right. It is Northwest. I stand corrected, Leuven. Leuven is in Gauteng. No wonder she's defending it. Altangers are still stuck in traffic, says Ashley. I haven't gotten home yet. They're driving between Centurion and Joburg. That's the problem. They haven't gotten home yet. There you go. They're stuck on the Beltway going around the world's largest man-made forest. Johannesburg, folks. How many of you knew that? The largest man-made forest on the planet is the city of Johannesburg. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Welcome back to the program, folks. Good to see you all here. Let's get into it. We got a lot of news, as usual, to talk about here. But the city of Cape Town, as I said, that it is authorized, given the green light, the thumbs up, for the African National Congress to hold their 113th anniversary celebration at a stadium designed to seat 2,000 people. 22,000 people expected to rock up there. They're spending 6.8 million rand on transport, which begs the question, where's the AC getting its money? Where's the money coming? There aren't 6.8 million or 5.8 million rand declared in their financial statements to the Independent Electoral Commission. I know they're not running for office right now, but they still have to do financial reports. So what's going on here? Where is the money coming from? Tehran? Moscow? Beijing? It's coming from somewhere. White monopoly capital? Well, it is coming definitely from the black monopoly capital in the mining industry, which funnels tens of millions of rand to the ANC. That's a fact. But they've kind of turned that spigot off. They haven't given much money up because they know the ANC is not the answer. Well, it sort of is. Anyway, let's get to the news here. So the city of, what the heck is going on here? Oh, sorry. Got the wrong thing popping up here. That's weird. Okay, we're straight. Something wasn't right here. Now we've got it sorted. All right, City of Cape Town gives a green light for the ANC celebrations coming up. City of Cape Town has clarified that the 2,000-seat Mandela Park Stadium in Khayelitsha can safely accommodate more than 22,000. Now, how do they do that? Well, the same way that the moment that I heard that they were going to have the celebration there, I explained how it can happen. How are they going to have a celebration for 22,000 people when they can only seat 2,000? Because they're not going to use the stands. They're going to use the pitch. They're going to use the field. They're going to tear up all the grass and have people wandering around out there. That's what's going to happen. So, but I mean, that's what happens at stadiums. But the problem is that, of course, they ask for Greenpoint Stadium a little bit late in the game. The Stormers have a game going on there. They ask for another stadium, the Athlon Stadium. There's an event going on there. So this is what happens when piss poor prior planning comes into play. The ANC's piss poor prior planning. Piss poor prior planning. Quad P. And that's not when you have to go to the restroom, quad P. It sounds like it. But the piss poor prior planning by the ANC has led to this disaster. And so now they're going to all be standing around, sitting in the crappy plastic chairs that collapse under the massive weight of some of the people who sit in them. Well, during a press briefing on Monday, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula said the stadium could accommodate 22,000 people after the party was mocked on social media for booking a small venue. However, concerns arose about safety. He said the ANC would not transport supporters from other provinces due to financial constraints. City Press reported the party's transport cost an estimated $6.8 million that would be spent ferrying attendees to the venue. How are these people getting there? Are they all riding in, BMW escorts? 6.8 million rand, $300,000 to transport people to the stadium? That's a lot of freaking money. 22,000 people, $300,000. Let's do the math real quick. You guys can do it in your head. So calculator, we're talking about $300,000, okay, divided by 22,000 people arriving. Oops, well, that's by 20,000. That's like 300,000 divided by 22,000 people. That's $13.63 in transport costs per person. Good Lord. Why is it so expensive? I'll tell you what. I'll rent some trucks and we'll move them all for $6.50 a piece. What do you say, NC? And we'll make money. Oh, my goodness. Well, the African National Congress dares the grandstanding mayor of Cape Town, Jordan Hill Lewis, to prove that the ANC begged him for the stadium. This comes after yesterday's news report in which I said that Jordan Hill Lewis was amused about the ANC, because claiming that they chose that stadium because they wanted it. He said, no, they came to us and asked us late in the game in November, we want to use DHL Greenpoint Stadium. And well, the Stormers are there. Well, we want to use Athlon Stadium. Well, there's an event going on there. Oh, what do we do now? So now they're claiming, prove that you were begged. This is a fascinating story, to say the least. In the IOL, Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill Lewis on Friday threatened to share evidence which shows that senior leaders of the ANC begged him to intervene to cancel the Stormers rugby game scheduled for Saturday in Cape Town and replace with ANC's celebrations taking place this weekend. Well, Democratic Alliance Mayor insists the ANC had no initial intention to host the landmark event in Kailicha. It is a fact they did not want to go there. They wanted Cape Town Stadium. When that was not available, they tried to book the Athlon Stadium as a second option. It's also booked this weekend. This is a very busy event in Cape Town, and this is our busiest season. Events venues are booked up literally 6 to 8 months, and sometimes even a year in advance. Come in November and try to book a venue is extremely late notice. That's what he told Newsroom Africa. Yeah, he said in November and December, ANC bigwigs started calling him on the phone and sending him WhatsApp messages asking him to intervene to secure a stadium for the ANC. Well, there is a stadium. It's a stadium that is being maintained at great expense. It has yet to be torn down. And what stadium am I talking about? It can accommodate 40,000, 50,000 people. Newlands. It's still there, folks. Newlands Stadium is still up. Hasn't been demolished. It's available. Why didn't they go to Newlands? Why didn't they go to Newlands? Why Kailicha? The ANC tries this BS. Well, we're going to Kailicha because we have affinity with the poor black Africans living in Kailicha. That's not why they're going there. They're going there because of piss poor prior planning. That is the ANC. Interesting story, to say the least. So the government apparently is going to begin rescue operations at Bufelsfontein gold mine. Wow. This is a scary thought here, folks. The government's going to go down. Apparently, a lot of bodies had left in that mine. Yesterday, illegal miners said there were 109 dead bodies at the bottom of shafts 10 and 11. The government will begin a rescue operation at Bufelsfontein gold mine in Stilfontein. That's what the court heard today after it emerged that there were 109 dead bodies. The operation will get underway hopefully as soon as this weekend, said Peter Alberts, Chief Director for Legal Services at the Mineral Resources and Energy Department, in an affidavit. He said an access road for the crane that will lift the miners to safety still need to be completed, which may take another 2 days. The heavy rain has not made things easier. The crane will work in 10-hour shifts, lifting people in small groups, said the government council. Wow. So I guess they want to come out now. So now the miners want to come out? Make sure we bill them for the expense of this. Well, strange little thing as the kidnapping and carjacking car thief suspects appeared in court today. 5 suspects charged with this kidnapping and the robbery of the vehicle, but only 4 make it to court. Now, who did make it to court? Can anybody guess who wasn't in court to have their initial hearing for their criminal charges? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess? Just a wild guess. Throw it out there. Come on. You can do it. You know who it is. It's Madiba's grandson. That's right. Nelson Mandela. Privilege. Mandela's grandson not among Uber robbery suspects in court, according to the IOL. One of the grandsons of former President Nelson Mandela is not among the 4 suspects who appeared in the Joburg Magistrates Court today. Police arrested the grandson along with 4 of the suspects Wednesday at the Global Icon's home in Houghton and recovered an Uber vehicle reported to have been hijacked in Benoni. Somebody mentioned my name in Benoni today. You guys remember that? Guys from Cape Town. So funny. Oh my goodness. The 4 suspects face charge of robbery with aggravating circumstance, kidnapping, and assault. But strangely, Madiba's grandson is not present at the hearing. What's going on? Privilege? Elite treatment? What do you say? Mandela's grandson not in dock as 4 others appear for hijacking case. Is one of them white? That looks like a white lady. Or is that the attorney? Got the arm behind her back. 4 of the accused arrested of the grandson of former president have made their first appearance. I see 4 people standing dock, and one of them looks like a white lady. Is she involved? Maybe she's colored. It's hard to tell. Oh, she looks white. I can see the bottom of her leg here. 4 people arrested at Nelson Mandela's home in allegedly kidnapping, robbing, and assaulting an Uber driver. 4 together with Mandela's grandson were arrested on Monday, but the former president, they said Wednesday, this is Monday, former president's relative was conspicuous in his absence. Magistrate J.D. Herman ordered the 4 accused together with Madiba's grandson not to be named, and their images may not be published. This comes after the state made an application that names and images of all 5 accused matters should be not published. Why? Why are we, excuse me, Mr. Judge Herman, why are the faces and names not published? Are you going to give them bail? If you give them bail and we don't know who they are, you have put the public in jeopardy. People need to be aware of these kidnappers. Alleged kidnappers. Wow. But of course, they're all starving. They had no choice. It was self-preservation. They had to rob the Uber driver. They had to have the car. They had to drive to Houghton to the luxury mansion occupied by Madiba's grandson. They just had no choice. I mean, it's apartheid. It's Jan van Riebeck. It's Hendrik Verwoerd. It's all bullshit. That's what it is. It's all bullshit. Look at the clothing they're wearing. Look at those designer shoes, those tennis shoes. Those are not cheap tennis shoes. Look at that. Yeah, look at that. Got cargo pants, Adidas tracksuit. Yeah, they're just starving kids. You can't help themselves. They're just robbing people just because, it's apartheid. But where the hell is Madiba's grandson? Why wasn't he in the docket? And why has Judge Melvin, whatever, why is he preventing the public from knowing who these potentially dangerous criminals are? You are putting the public at risk, friend. Bossa, Build One South Africa, calls for the matric pass rate to be increased to 50%. I would laugh, except that this is a pathetic thing. The fact that they are actually calling for it to be raised 50%. And Musi Maimani, while I appreciate the intent, this is an epic fail on your part. 50%? Again, Musi Maimani, do you want to drive across the bridge built by someone that got 55% in math? I don't want to. Do you want the surgeon opening your chest cavity to perform put a stent in your chest? Do you want that surgeon to have gotten 60 in biology? I don't think so. Now, he's not wrong. He's trying to raise the standard, so we have to give Musi Maimani a little credit. But it's not good enough, Musi. Not good enough. 70% is the passing rate in the real world, not this fantasy world of caters in South Africa. Bossa calls for matric pass mark to be increased to 50%. Bill One South Africa has launched a petition urging Basic Education Minister Siviwe Garuba to raise the matric pass mark from 30 to 50%. There were 13,891 signatures when this went to press. According to Bossa, continuing with the 30% pass mark is no longer sustainable. Musi, the 30% pass mark rate was never sustainable. It was a fantasy from the very outset. With South Africa's top of the youth unemployment crisis globally, the continued matric pass mark requirement of only 30% cannot continue a day longer. A meager 30% pass hurts our pupils, the education system, and in the long run, the economy. Well, 100%. It undermines the intellect of South Africa's youth and allows for the obfuscation of basic education. Exactly. He's 100% correct. But 50% ain't going to get it done, brother. 70% is the minimum. The matric results will be released on the 13th of January, but you won't be able to find out because the government's trying to hide them. And Gareth Cliff commented on this. Let's see if I still have that comment. Well, Marilyn, your father's standards were impossibly high. People can't achieve consistently 99%. That was a bit unfair of him. 70% is a reasonable pass rate. Well, there's a Mkhonto we Sizwe battalion within the ANC. The subterfuge begins. Ladies and gentlemen, we go now to the Thule House and we check in on the MK spies. Sources inside the ANC National Executive Committee have revealed that there is an Mkhonto we Sizwe party battalion operating inside the ANC. MK, now the country's official opposition party, has party members planted inside the ANC to facilitate the party's transition into an MK party. Say it ain't so. According to sources, some top brass in the party take a mandate from former President Jacob Zuma and are occupied with seeing him take over the ANC again. It's just a thriller. Do the Roo! Well, ANC has burrowed their way into, or the MK's burrowed their way into Thule House ANC. Are you surprised? I'm not. Jacob Zuma was the chief of MK intelligence. If anybody knows how to spy on his own people, it's Jacob Zuma. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the captured South African Human Rights Commission, finally, it's announced in the press, 10 days plus Boxing Day, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 16 days after the abusive tirade, the racially tinged rant against colored women, spreading their legs. Oh my goodness. Nobs Nkisi is finally being investigated by the South African Captured Human Rights Commission. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. Here we go. Innocenta Madaking reports on this story. South African Human Rights Commission investigates Fly South Air racist incident involving SABC employee Nobuntu Mkhize. There she is. Yes, that's right, folks. We firmly condemn any form of racist behavior and recognize it as a challenge we must collectively address, except that you do not. You fraudulently go after people who've committed no offense, and you ignore racism heaped on Indians, coloreds in particular, and white South Africans by majority South Africans on a daily basis. On a daily basis. You cover it up, you hide, you disappear it. Where are the charges for all the cases I pointed out previously? Anyway, yep. Amabutu have postponed an illegal demonstration outside the Inganyama Trust in KwaZulu-Natal. And Peter Maritzburg, my goodness. Yeah, here you go. Look at these fit warriors, man. Are you terrified of those Zulu warriors? Very successful gentlemen, too, judging by those pot bellies. Anyway, Amabutu have put on hold their peaceful protests to the Inganyama Trust offices, which were scheduled to take place in Peter Maritzburg today. They claim that suspended CEO Vela Mngomwenge instructed staff to take the day off. Therefore, no one could receive their memorandum. Well, he confirmed that he closed the offices to prevent the confrontation with Amabutu as he believed their protest was illegal. The Amabutu, which is, of course, Zulu for regiments of the Zulu Nation. Why do the Zulu Nation have regiments? Is this an insurrection? Do you have a military organization that is parallel to the South African National Defense Force? Why do you have regiments? You don't need regiments. You're part of South Africa. Are you going to become the Zulu Nation? Are you breaking away? Is there secession talks underway in KwaZulu-Natal? You don't need regiments. And you certainly don't need gangs of people showing up for an illegal protest. In South Africa, you must have a permit to protest. They don't have one. So they're wrong. Moving right along. The government must not miss the boat in 2025. This is the message from Finance Minister Enoch Gondwana, who is calling for government intervention into the economy. Well, brother, that is not the right approach. The government intervention is one of the reasons why South Africa's economy is in the crapper. Your macroeconomic policies for the African National Congress have destroyed hope, entrepreneurialism, and success in South Africa. But he wants government intervention. And of course, the Government National Union will go right along with this. The government cannot afford to miss the boat in 2025 to introduce economic interventions, handouts that will improve the livelihoods of its citizens. It won't. Yep. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Trade and Industry Competition Minister Parks Tao and his finance counterpart Enoch Gondwana said the high cost of living, poor public transport, high data costs, jobs, logistical challenges at South Africa's ports and infrastructure would get emphasis this year. Ladies and gentlemen, the ruling government and national unity can't focus on that many things simultaneously. Fix electricity. Start there. Everything flows from there. While you're at it, get the police to fix security and provide a credible deterrence to crime. That takes a long time to restore. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Well, Cape Town scientists say they've been pressured into retracting their findings that there's poo water in Cape Town. Ooh, there's poo water. They've got beach water that has poo in it. Well, this isn't beach water. I'll be okay. V8, the original, 100% vegetable juice. All right, folks. Cape Town scientists say they've been pressured. They've been pressured. Under pressure. Do-do-do. Yes, two scientists say they were pressured into retracting a citizen science study on Cape Town's seawater quality. The study indicated the presence of E. coli and Enterochia in water samples from various beaches. But the city of Cape Town has disputed the findings, saying the accreditation of the labs used were questionable. Yep, the two renowned Cape Town scientists, Dr. Joe Barnes and Professor Leslie Petrick, say they were being bullied into retracting a study which they said was scientifically sound. Project Blue, a citizen-driven investigation into the seawater quality at a few selected beaches in the Cape Peninsula, included both Table Bay and False Bay. I'll tell you up front, False Bay is definitely a problem. The sewage dumps right into False Bay. Yeah, it's not a place you want to eat the fish out of. Yep, water quality at Strand was also flagged. Whoa, don't tell me that. That's right next to Gordon's Bay. I've been on the beach in Strand. Should I check myself for E. coli? Now, the research said the sampling was done according to international scientific standards and witnessed by independent observers. The city claims it wasn't. Who knows what's going on? I know that I don't want to wade into poo water. That's what I know. Well, the competition tribunal has dismissed IOL Iqbal surveys effort to reinstate the accounts. Yep. In March of 2020, Impati Commission released the results of its investigation into Public Investment Corporation and recommended that the PIC conduct forensic investigation into its dealings with Iqbal Surveys Sekunjalo Group. Those recommendations prompted a number of banks to close the group's accounts, resulting in a torrent of almost entirely unsuccessful legal action from Survey and his companies. Despite this, the Competition Commission has now found that the decision by Nedbank and 8 other banks to unbank them constitutes a prohibited concerted practice under competition law, prompting fresh legal action from the group. So the Competition Committee has not forced Nedbank to open its accounts, but it does raise questions about collusion among these banks. Collusion. Well, if you don't pass, you're unlikely to succeed. So says Gareth Cliff. Of course, we all know Gareth. I love the way our government tries to hide how stupid our matrix are. Media personality Gareth Cliff has never been one to mince words, and he did not hold back with the latest remarks on the state of South Africa's education system. Gareth recently took to social media to weigh in on the publication of matrix results next week, saying this was an issue of merit and accountability. I love the way our government tries to hide how stupid our matrix are by obfuscating around publication of results. Do you really think an employer is going to see those results one day? The matrix is easy. Merit matters. It's a test. If you don't pass it, you're unlikely to succeed. Stop lying to children. National education has failed them, but some of them have failed themselves. Yeah, indeed. 26 foreign nationals kidnapped. Human trafficking. South Africa's out of control. 26 foreigners have been rescued in a suspected human trafficking ring bust, 11 taken to hospital for medical treatment. Authorities were alerted after Sandringham residents reported suspicious activity. Hawk spokesman Colonel Pilani Nawalasa said a joint operation between Sandringham Police, the Gauteng Hawks, Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department, and a private security company led to the dismantling of an alleged trafficking ring. Ooh, wow. On arrival, they found 15 naked people believed to be Ethiopians captive inside the house. Wow. Further investigation led to the arrest of 3 suspects who were allegedly involved in human trafficking and illegal possession of a firearm. They were found with a 9mm Tokarev pistol, 1 magazine, but no ammunition. And with that, they managed to keep 15 people captive. PEP customers have gotten a good deal, some of them, as their accounts have been paid off by donations. Pretty cool, huh? Wouldn't you say? PEP customers getting heartwarming surprises. Strangers are paying off their laybys. We say layaways, not laybys. PEP launched a Lay-By Buddy initiative back in 2020. And since then, more than 46,200 donor-funded vouchers have been sent to customers to pay off their PEP laybys. Contributions as little as 2 Rand can be made in the store and from 20 Rand online. And 100% of donations received are allocated to PEP lay-by customers in the form of a PEP voucher. Contributions by lay-by buddies and PEP totaled 30.2 million Rand at the end of 2024, with most donors choosing to pay off laybys of school clothing. Cool. Wow. In 2019, one man paid off every single outstanding lay-by at a PEP store in Mossel Bay. People then started challenging others to do the same thing in I'm Staying, which led to the creation of the PEP Lay-By Buddy initiative in June 2020. That's incredible. People can be very generous. It's amazing. Speaking of generosity, the Super Chat button works. I'm just saying. Just saying. Namibian opposition parties relying on South African attorneys to challenge the results of Namibia's recent election, which kept SWAPO in power, in a surprising result, to say the least. The Namibian opposition parties, the IPC and the LPM, are challenging the country's November election results. They argued Namibian President Mumba unlawfully extended the elections in certain regions. Yes, which exactly happened. Namibia's elections are the most obviously blatantly corrupt elections we've seen this year. Namibians took the polls November 27 to elect their president and members of the National Assembly, but of course we know that for days later they were still counting votes, and they didn't open up those polling stations in places that were hostile to the Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO. A corrupt, stolen election. Speaking of elections, thousands of people welcome the opposition leader back to Mozambique after he comes back from his cowardly 2 months in exile. Thousands welcome Mozambique leader as he returns from exile. Security forces barred supporters from going to Maputo's airport to meet him as he landed, with at least one person shot and wounded at the barricades. Good Lord. But thousands gathered later at a market in the center of the city chanting, Venatio! And blowing whistles and vuvuzelas, those vuvuzelas, at Mondlane. Flanked by security guards, he stood on top of a car and waved and pointed at the crowd. Wow. Raising his hand as if to take an oath, Mondlane said in front of the journalist that he was the president elected by the genuine will of the people. Over 300 people are dead in the violence that he precipitated and encouraged and exhorted his followers to commit violent acts before he fled into, I don't know, exile? What do you want to call it? He just cowardly left the country for 2 months. So we have this nonsense going on where someone posted online yesterday, Venancio Mondlane's passport was retained at Mozambique immigration. Well, no, that's not true. Partially true. Mondlane had his passport withheld by Mozambican immigration authorities upon his arrival. The official explanation was that the diplomatic passport was no longer valid since he had relinquished his position as a member of parliament. However, his advisor, Denis Tivani, argued this is a pretext to intimidate him, given his position as a member of the Council of State and an attempt to undermine the opposition. But he's not a member of the Council of State because the member of the Council of State would have to be sworn in once the president's in. Well, thank you for that, Mayor Cat. 35 Rand would get me a coffee in South Africa, and I'll keep that in mind, but it won't get me one here. Things are expensive. So, first off, a diplomatic passport. To my knowledge, he's not entitled to have a diplomatic passport. Why would he have a diplomatic passport when he's not a member of the government? So, we'll see. It was appropriate for them to take it. He should not be carrying it. I carried a diplomatic passport, and I was forced to surrender it when I left a position that warranted having a diplomatic passport. I had 3 diplomatic passports over the years. I think it was 3, maybe 4. Well, he has reemerged in Mozambique, and he's talking about a new flag. Well, let's get rid of that communist nonsense off it. I'm all for that. Yep, here we go. Mozambique's protest leader, Venancio Mondlane, dropped out of view after police fired tear gas to disperse a crowd listening to him yesterday morning. On Friday morning, he posted on his Facebook page promoting a competition for proposals to change the Mozambique flag. Participants have been offered a prize pot worth a little under the equivalent of 100,000 Rand. Wow. 100,000 Rand to design a new flag? Hell, I'll design a new flag. Give me a piece of paper right now. There you go. 100,000 Rand, please. That'll pay for my travel to South Africa. Yay, bo. Would be good to go. That'd be a deposit on a house, or at least a condo in South Africa. And there's Tony Nay with a super chat. Now, Tony, you know $2 won't buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks. I mean, and especially $2 Canadian. That's like 48 cents US, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Well, the Congo has banned Al Jazeera after its reporting on a key rebel leader, and journalists are threatened. Wow, not a good outcome there. Congo banned Al Jazeera, yesterday's satellite news network, over its interview with the leader of a violent rebel group that has seized territory in the country's east. Separately, Congo's justice minister threatened journalists and others who report on the M23 rebels with a death penalty, though there's no law officially banning media from covering rebel groups. Wow. So talk about people that have no idea what governance is and what their authority is. The minister has no authority to threaten people with the death penalty. It's not even a crime to talk to media, not a crime for the media to interview people. Total nonsense. Wayne Ellis, I hope he's asked ISIS for permission. Well, Wayne, there is no ISIS in Mozambique. That's a fairy tale. There are a bunch of wackadoodles in Cabo Delgado province, probably 150, 200 of them, who have committed horrendous crimes against humanity, and allowed to do it because of the vacuum created by the ineffective governance by Frelimo in Cabo Delgado province, facilitating this criminal activity. There is no ISIS. These people claim they're Boko Haram, then they claim they're ISIS. They're not tied to ISIS. They're not tied to Boko Haram. They're just a bunch of nasty criminals who really should never see the light of day. But that's the bottom line. But yeah, and besides, it's 1,200 miles, 1,800 kilometers from north to south. It's a long way off where they're at. There's a report saying Ethiopian military are impressing people off the streets, including minor children. This is disturbing. A 29-year-old day laborer in Shashamene, a city in Ethiopia's Oromo region, was walking home from dinner with 2 friends one night in November when he heard a commotion. On the side of the road, about 400 meters away, 4 men dressed in uniforms of a local militia were shoving 2 young people into a police car. The militiamen called out to the man and his friends. They didn't wait to hear what came next. They turned and fled in the opposite direction. 2 militiamen chased him on foot for a short distance before they gave up. The laborer, who asked to remain anonymous for reasons of personal safety, said news of Oromo government security forces and allied militias grabbing young people off the street for enlistment was all over town. He didn't want to cross the so-called recruiters or get pressed into military service himself. We were aware that some people were taken. So when the militias called us, we didn't stop. We ran, and I stayed overnight with my friends. Yeah. Unbelievable. Teenage kids as young as 11 being stuck into this conflict. It's crazy. Crazy, if that's in fact the case. John Mahama sworn in as Ghana's president, as Karen Bass, the Los Angeles mayor, a city with a total black population of, get ready for it, 9% goes to Ghana for the ceremony. Why? Ghana is a country. It's not a sister city of Los Angeles. It's not a partner state with California. Why is she going there for the inauguration of Ghana? She's not from Ghana. She's an American, or she wouldn't be the mayor. What's going on here? Well, John Muhammad got inaugurated. Karen Bass should have been in Los Angeles doing her damn job. But she's not competent or intellectually capable. John Muhammad, sworn as Ghana's president, promises to reset the country. Why does the country need to be reset? 66-year-old sworn in as Ghana's president for the third time. Well, this guy didn't get it right the first two times, so why is he going to reset it? He won 56% of the vote in the election on December 9th, defeating ruling party candidate and Vice President Balwamua, who secured 41%. Today should mark the opportunity to reset our country, he said. Really? Why are you resetting the country, Mama? You were in charge twice. What needs to be reset? Actually, Ghana has a lot of problems, particularly domestic debt. Huge domestic debt problem. Patrick says, heard exactly the same thing 2 years ago in Beira. Heard what? What I said? Or that they were ISIS? Chad is investigating a failed attack in which purportedly 19 people were killed in an assault on the government. Wow, failed coup on the presidential palace. Chadian troops were heavily deployed around the capital of N'Djamena Thursday as officials said they were investigating a failed attack on the country's presidential palace. Government troops foiled an attack by 24 heavily armed assailants Wednesday night. Wow. The president was in the palace at the time, but he's in good health. 18 of the attackers were killed on the spot, and the body of one attacker was found Thursday on the city streets. One member of the presidential guard died in the assault, and 2 others were injured. Wow, what's going on in Chad? An illegitimate government keeps delaying elections? Well, gee, I wonder why people are upset. Meanwhile, China and Chad vow to expand their mutually beneficial cooperation. Okay. All right. You say so. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Wednesday. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. Wang Yi on Wednesday expressed China's willingness to comprehensively expand mutually beneficial cooperation to support Chad's development and revitalization. Okay. All right. Revitalization was never vital to begin with. How can you be revitalized if you haven't been vital in the first place? Well, an oil tanker struck by the criminal rogue elements who need to be put to death after sentencing for their conviction, the Houthis. This tanker attacked by the Houthis has been salvaged. An oil tanker that burned for weeks in the Red Sea after being attacked by Yemen's Houthi rebels and threatening a massive oil spill has been salvaged. The Union had been a disaster in waiting in the waterway with 1 million barrels of crude oil aboard that had been struck and later sabotaged with explosive by the Iranian-funded Houthis as part of their campaign of terror. It took months for salvagers to tow the vessel away, extinguish the fires, and offload the remaining crude oil. Over 3 challenging weeks, the fires were extinguished, cargo tanks patched and pressurized with inert gas, and the vessel declared safe. In early October, she was towed north to Suez for removal of her cargo, which has now been successfully completed. Had that oil spilled, the disaster would have been 4 times the size of the Exxon Valdez in 1989 off the coast of Alaska. What an ecological tragedy that would have been by these anti-human scumbag Houthi rebels. Well, Angela Merkel, Helmut Kohl's biggest mistake. Angela Merkel, the ehemaligen DDR-Kanzlerin, die ehemaligen Kommunisten, die ehemaligen Kanzlerin, die ehemaligen, was können wir noch sagen dazu? Yeah, anyway, the former Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, desperately trying to rebuild her corrupt image as a failed leader with her book. Angela Merkel wants her memoir to save her legacy, but it's backfiring. In her book, the former chancellor stubbornly defends decisions that are becoming increasingly unpopular, alienating even some of her allies. I mean, the 736-page long book puts you to sleep. It's been published in multiple languages. I have no idea why. Much pride, little self-reflection was the headline from the state broadcaster, ARD, the key media platform of Merkel's time in power. So here you go. Illegal immigrants trying to register for asylum in Germany. Look at that. Invasion. Yep. Unbelievable. So she's trying to rehabilitate her broken image because she's a failed communist who destroyed Germany. So I guess she was successful, not failed. Polish defense chief says that the alliance backing Ukraine should continue under Trump. Well, you're wrong, buddy. You're wrong. Ukraine's Defense Contact Group, an alliance of more than 50 countries providing military support for their illegitimate struggle against the illegitimate Russian invasion, should continue even after Donald Trump is inaugurated on the 20th of January, said the Polish Defense Minister Władysław Kozyniak-Kamysk. Oh, wow. So this week's meeting was convened at the U.S. Air Force Base in Ramstein. It was the last chaired by outgoing Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who proposed the concept for the contact group in April 2022. Well, stop funding war. That's the answer here. Well, the Kremlin welcomes a potential meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Yes, you want to suck your blood, Vladimir. Yes, the Kremlin. So the Kremlin's welcomed U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's readiness to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. They have attached no conditions to the face-to-face talks. Trump said Thursday that Putin wants to meet, and that's a meeting that's being set up. Wow, efforts to end the 3-year war between Russia and Ukraine. Won't happen on day one, but it will happen. Protesting Caracas in Venezuela ahead of Maduro's disputed third inauguration. Hundreds took to the streets of the Venezuelan capital to demand that opposition leader Edmundo González Ureta be installed instead. Venezuelans who haven't fled to America, which seems to be all of them, being facetious there, but hundreds of thousands, are upset. They're up in arms. And why not? Venezuelan opposition leader is detained as the government tightens its crackdown. Maria Cortina Machado was seized by government agents after appearing at a protest over his planned inauguration. Detained after appearing in a demonstration in East Caracas, where Venezuelans had heeded her call to protest Maduro's inauguration. Wow. Regime forces fired on the motorcycles that were transporting her. Wow. That's crazy. She had been mounted onto a motorcycle and taken away by government security agents after her motorcycle was intercepted. Wow. So this is what they do. Surprised they didn't assault her in another way. Liberals are looking to seek to elect a new leader in Canada. Oh, Canada. Anyway, native land, true north. Anyway, and all thy sons command. That's right, all thy sons. Get the lyrics right there, you woke Canadians. All right, Liberals to select leader on March 9th. The Liberal Party of Canada has set March 9th as the date to choose their new leader to replace Justin Trudeau, while maintaining the leadership race, including the deadline for candidates to sign up. That gives the party 2 months to find a replacement. After a robust and secure nationwide process, the Liberal Party of Canada will choose a new leader on March 9th and be ready to fight and win the 2020 election. Oh, yeah. Win the election. Seriously, you're 27 points behind in the polls. So says Liberal Party of Canada President Sachit Mehra. Yes, that very traditional Anglo-Saxon name there. All leadership contestants must declare their participation by January 23rd and pay $350,000 Canadian to enter the race. What kind of crap is that? A significantly higher fee than the $75,000 amount set for the previous leadership race. $350,000 to compete for the presidency or the leadership of the political party. That is a corrupt body. A corrupt body. Do you know what I had to pay to run for office? You have to pay $350,000, trust me. Unbelievable. I just had to declare my candidacy and meet the standards. Well, Melanie Joly, who was often thought to be the front runner to replace little Justin Trudeau, apparently is out of the running. Maybe she can't raise $350,000. I don't know. But Melanie Joly is no longer the foreign minister who stepped aside recently. Will not run for Liberal Party leadership. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly is out of the running to replace Justin Trudeau. He's expected to talk to media today outside a U.S.-Canada Relations Cabinet meeting on Parliament Hill. Anticipation building for months. Whether former central banker Mark Carney, former finance minister Chrystia Freeland, and former BC Premier Christy Clark will throw their hats in the ring. And soon Melanie Joly will be the former foreign minister too. Well, Donald Trump has been sentenced to nothing. Trump defined as judge delivers a no jail felony sentence ahead of inauguration. And we all know it's a bogus felony charge. So Trump said, this is a very terrible experience. I think it's been a tremendous setback for New York. I'm totally innocent. I did nothing wrong. He said, I get indicted for business records. Everyone should be so accurate. Yep. I got the largest number of votes by far of any Republican candidate in history, and I'm the first president in history who was under a gag order. Yeah, Marchand underscored the severity of Trump's felonies and the jury's decision to find him guilty of falsifying business records. In a venue he didn't stand a fair chance. This should have been a change of venue. This trial should have been conducted in Iowa, not in Manhattan. That's for damn sure. I'm being facetious about Iowa, but you get my point. Yep. It is the legal protections afforded the office of President of the United States that are extraordinary, not the occupant of the office. One power they do not provide is the power to erase a jury verdict. So he sticks with his convictions, but nothing. No fine, no jail time, nothing. Nothing. The verdict in this case was unanimous and decisive, and it must be respected. Well, it was also corrupt and fixed and rigged from the very beginning. The defendant wasn't allowed to defend himself. Yep. So, during the trial, prosecutors said Trump criminally concealed payments to Ms. Daniels around the campaign with an intent to violate election laws. The payments were designed to keep Ms. Daniels quiet about an alleged sexual encounter about a decade earlier in Lake Tahoe. Well, the payments weren't taken from his election money, like was the case with the gentleman in North Carolina who ran, Edwards. The payments were his own money. So where's the crime? Where's the crime? Mr. Trump's lawyer said he was busy running the country and thought he was paying Mr. Cohen for legal services, so his team logged the checks in that manner. They also accused the prosecution of using novel legal theories. Exactly. He paid Cohen for legal services. And Cohen was a perjurer, a known perjurer, and a convicted felon who was used to help convict Donald Trump of a non-existent crime. Yeah, anyway, so Trump sentenced in the hush money with no penalty. President-elect Donald Trump was sentenced Friday in his hush money case to unconditional discharge, in which the defendant is not fined, locked up, or given probation. So basically it means nothing. Also, there are no conditions based on being a convicted felon. None of that applies. It's an unconditional discharge. Yep. Unconditional discharge. So this is all a big waste of our time. This is the left's fantasy and tens of millions of dollars and the country dragged through the mud so they can get their fantasy and their scalp. Judge Juan Marchand, the corrupt Colombian immigrant, has sentenced Donald Trump to unconditional discharge. The only lawful sentence that permits entry of a judgment or conviction without encroaching upon the highest office of the land is an unconditional discharge. There you go. So nothing comes of it. Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Well, the death toll has risen to at least 10 in the California fires, which are no longer can be considered wildfires. Clearly, there's some evidence of arson taking place here. Multiple large blazes have erupted around the city of Angels, causing economic damage and losses that will top $150 billion. Good Lord. At least 10 people have now been killed and thousands of homes destroyed by the wildfires. They're not wildfires. Vicious winds, which whipped up the flames in LA and caused chaos as hundreds of thousands of Angelinos evacuated. They've begun to weaken. But forecast of high risk for fire continues into today. 180,000 people are still subject to mandatory evacuations. Good Lord. Good Lord. Arrests have been made, suspicion of starting the fire. So how can you call it a wildfire? How can you call them wildfires when you have people under arrest for arson? Give me a freaking break. Give me a break. Just like the Cape Town fire, arson. Canadian firefighting planes disabled by illegal use of drones. Canadian plane fighting the LA fires is out of service after colliding with a civilian drone. Good Lord. Authorities in LA say a Quebec water bomber is out of service after colliding with a drone while fighting wildfires. A pair of Quebec water bombers and their crews have been helping since Tuesday to fight the massive fires north of downtown LA, which have killed at least 10 people and burned more than 10,000 homes and other structures. The LA County Fire Department says the plane known as Quebec 1 was struck by a civilian drone at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, daytime, sustaining wing damage. No injuries, but the bomber is grounded. The Quebec planes are sent to California every fall as part of an annual contract that's been in place for more than 30 years because we can't afford to buy our own firefighting bombers because these people are stealing money, and the city of Los Angeles, instead of buying firefighter bombers and these planes built in Canada and having crews to do this, or equipping the MAFs on C-130s, which is perfectly capable of fighting forest fires but carrying much more water than that. Instead of doing that, the city of Los Angeles spends $1.3 billion, $1.3 billion on the homeless. Only $870 million on firefighting. $1.3 billion on people who are living on the street, which is not their responsibility. A federal judge has struck down Joe Biden's criminal attempt to rewrite Title IX, which provides equal protection under the law for female athletes. And Joe Biden sought to undermine that with the fantasy of transgender males and females playing in the opposite gender sport. Wow. A federal judge in Kentucky blocked the Biden regime's attempt to redefine sex in Title IX as gender identity, striking down the change nationwide. U.S. District Court of Eastern Kentucky's Northern Division made the ruling in Cardona versus Tennessee yesterday. Massive win for Tennessee and the country. Tennessee Attorney General Jonathan Scametti said on Twitter, this morning a federal judge ruled in our favor and vacated the Biden regime's radical new Title IX nationwide. Thank goodness. Wow. This ruling came months after the Supreme Court rejected the Biden regime's emergency request to enforce portions of a new rule that would have included protections from discrimination for transgender students under Title IX. The sweeping rule was issued in April and clarified the Title IX's ban on sex discrimination in schools also covers discrimination based on gender identity, sexual orientation, and pregnancy or related conditions. Wow, that's just total nonsense. I mean, take a look at this. Look at this very sexy, clearly feminine body of Leah Thomas on the left-hand side next to Riley Gaines, a superstar female athlete. And Leah Thomas couldn't beat Riley Gaines despite that bulk, muscle, and male frame while pretending to be a female athlete. Wow. Wow. Riley Gaines still tied Leah Thomas in that race. Well, here's a look at the Pacific Palisades, and I'm going to talk about this. I haven't really talked about the fires yet, and I'll probably talk about it this weekend, just some analysis, because everybody and their brother's making YouTube videos. They're all experts on fire. I'm not a firefighter, but I do have a lot of experience working with firefighters. I also have a lot of experience in nature. I also have common sense, and I'm an analyst. So I've held back, but I'm going to comment on this. This fire is a consequence of human hubris, of failure, negligence, malfeasance, and ineptitude. That's why this is a problem it is. First off, people encroaching on nature, building homes in fragile ecological spots is a major consideration. The overly tight density of people desiring to live in the Los Angeles area has led to homes so close together that they cannot possibly have anything happen except fire to destroy them. So let's take a look at the map of Pacific Palisades. You're going to see a map and see all the places damaged. And look how close these houses are. More than 5,000 structures destroyed in the Palisades fire, California officials said yesterday. Analysis of satellite images by Microsoft offered a glimpse of the devastation in one section of Pacific Palisades, a wealthy neighborhood between Malibu and Santa Monica. All right, look at all of those houses that are gone. Gone, gone, gone. And look how tightly packed they are. The charter high school is gone, the shopping mall is gone, and hundreds of houses. I don't care if they're wealthy or poor. But the Pacific Ocean is right there. And look at how close they are. And they're all gone. And you see some dots to the side, some yellow there. That's where the fire leaped and reached other houses. So all the people around them are lucky that they weren't destroyed as well. But it's total devastation. In this one area alone, there appear to be more than 2,000 buildings that were damaged or destroyed, according to analysis. Here is where the Pacific Palisades fire took place, much of it in an unoccupied area, but on the southeast corner of Pacific Palisades, that's where all these people live, and that's the map I just showed you. Aerial photographs of Pacific Palisades show the fire leveled whole swaths of the neighborhood near the Palisades Village shopping mall north of Sunset Boulevard. And here you go. These are the places completely obliterated by the fire. Although they don't look obliterated here, they look fine. Must have been when the fire got started early. There you go. So the Pacific Palisades fire. U.S. mortgage rates have climbed to their highest level since July. Another gift for Donald Trump as Joe Biden's failed economy is handed over to the president-elect. More expensive mortgages are a drag on a full-fledged housing recovery, according to economists. Duh. U.S. mortgage rates are back at their highest level since last summer, frustrating homebuyers waiting for a break from some of the steepest borrowing costs in more than a decade. The average new 30-year fixed-rate mortgage was 6.93 this week. Ladies and gentlemen, by comparison, my fixed mortgage rate is below 4%. Well below 4%. Yep. Wow. And that's outrageous. Supreme Court is hearing arguments today on the TikTok case. Supreme Court will consider if federal law that forces the Chinese tech company ByteDance to sell TikTok will take effect on January 19th. Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act was signed by crooked Joe Biden on April 24th of 2024. TikTok is operated in the United States by TikTok Incorporated, a U.S. company that Cayman Islands-based ByteDance. It's a subsidiary of the China, which owns it indirectly. So, here's the bottom line. If you have TikTok on your device, it changes nothing. They can't prevent you from accessing it. However, you will be unable to download that application off of Apple's Apple Store or off of the Play Store from Google or any other place after the 19th of January unless the court intercedes and prevents this from happening, that law which Joe Biden signed. So you can still use TikTok, but you won't be able to download the app So you're going to have to use a VPN, virtual private network, to tunnel through to another country where you can download the app, say the UK or Japan or somewhere like that. But you probably want to go Anglo-Saxon, so UK or Canada. And then you'll be able to get it. Tony is buffering. Sorry to hear that, Tony. Am I buffering? Let me take a look. Nope, I'm not buffering. It's just Tony. So we got a couple little super chats, and that was earlier. Thank you for that. What's going on here? That's the wrong window. All right, so back to where we were. There we go. Right. TikTok. Well, Donald Trump says the world is benefiting from the U.S. pharmaceutical industry. And I've said this many, many times. It's fascinating these people in power start parroting the things I say. I'm not claiming Trump got this from me. He's a very smart guy. But I've been saying it for years. It's unfair what we pay for pharmaceuticals in this country. And my point here is that people complain that the companies in America are gouging consumers here. And I disagree. The U.S. subsidizes the development of life-saving drugs or life-altering drugs, pharmaceuticals, for the benefit of the world. And we get no credit for that. No credit for that. So I'll give you an example of this. A drug that was designed to fight hepatitis was developed in the United States at the cost of billions of dollars. Yep, let's talk about that drug. And the Egyptians get it for a song. Trump says world is free riding on U.S. health spending, and he has a point, according to this op-ed. So let me find this down here, the story where he talks about this. It's here somewhere. They freeload off of our developments. Well, I still don't see this. Let me find Egypt here. Find the story. Find the page, Egypt. EGYPT. There we go. Okay, all right. So there it is. Okay, so consider the $11 billion acquisition of Pharmacit by Gilead more than a decade ago, which led to the development of Sovaldi, a groundbreaking hepatitis C treatment. When Sovaldi launched in the United States, it was $84,000 for a 12-week regimen to treat hepatitis C. It sparked widespread criticism for its high cost, which is fair. It's outrageously expensive. Policymakers and patient groups slammed Gilead. Yet there was a clear beneficiary for America's willingness to pay sky-high prices, the rest of the world. Egypt, which at the time had the world's highest hepatitis C prevalence, got a 99% discount on that drug. So they paid like $140 for 12-week course. We got ripped off. And that's the problem. We subsidize pharmaceutical development for the world. The United States develops 70% of the pharmaceuticals that are used in the modern world. 70%. And we pay the price for the safety, the security, the development of these things. And other countries don't pay the true price of drugs. They get them for a song. It's unfair to Americans. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Anita Bryant has passed away. Just reported she died December 16th. Anita Bryant. She was a famous singer who came out against homosexuality and was ostracized and blacklisted as a consequence of it. Anita Bryant, singer and anti-gay rights crusader, dies at the age of 84. Bryant was Miss Oklahoma and Florida Citrus spokesman before leading the anti-LGBTQ. There was no such thing. That's a lie. Anti-homosexuality. That's what she led. There was no LGBTQ plus when she did this. Multi-Grammy nominated singer and former Miss Oklahoma, later became a high-profile campaigner against gay rights, died at the age of 84. In an announcement Thursday, Bryant's family announced that she died at her home in Oklahoma on December 16th. Born on the 25th of March, 1940 in Oklahoma, Bryant quickly rose to fame through her musical career with hit songs, including Till There Was You, In My Little Corner of the World, and Paper Roses. I remember Paper Roses. At the age of 18, she was crowned Miss Oklahoma. In addition to singing at the White House during Lyndon Johnson's presidency, she sang at Republican Democratic conventions, spokesperson for the Florida Citrus, and at one point coining the phrase, breakfast without orange juice is like a day without sunshine. In the 1970s, she became politically involved by leading the anti-gay Save Our Children campaign, which sought to repeal an ordinance in Dade County, Florida, that prohibited discrimination based on sexual orientation. Yep, she's survived by 4 children, 2 stepdaughters, 7 grandchildren, their spouses said in a statement. Former beauty queen spokeswoman for Florida Orange Juice, was an all-American entertainer before crusading against gay rights. Yep, there she is as Miss Oklahoma at the age of 18 in 1958. Wow. She founded Save Our Children, an anti-gay organization that gave rise to the modern-day religious rights strategy of trying of tying homosexuality to perceived threats against children. Her public image, well, I'm sorry. Have we not just seen what these cases of these gay couples? I mean, obviously not all gay couples, but the lesbians who beat and pummeled a 5-year-old boy that was their boy, and then these 2 gay men who adopted these boys and then gang raped them and then pimped them out. And she wasn't unfounded. That's not the gay community, but there's people in that community. Anyway, so Anita Bryant has passed away. So, an op-ed appears in the Wall Street Journal saying, will the International Criminal Court reap the whirlwind? Well, once again, I say that these guys jump on my bandwagon. The International Criminal Court is illegitimate. It has exceeded its writ. It has violated the tenets of the Rome Statute. It does not apply to countries that are not signatories to the Rome Statute. You only have any sovereignty over a country if they willingly surrender it to you. First, they must ratify the Rome Statute, join the International Criminal Court. That's step 1. Step 2 is that anyone that want to try for human rights abuses or crimes against humanity must be a person referred to the court by the country itself, because the country is unable or unwilling to prosecute. That's the only conditions where the International Criminal Court has any legal authority. So this nonsense about Putin, this nonsense about Benjamin Netanyahu is utter nonsense. Russia, Ukraine, Israel are not signatories to the agreement. Therefore, the Rome Statute is not applicable, and given the behavior of the National Criminal Court, it has delegitimized its existence. It must be disbanded. There you go. There you go. Must be disbanded. All right, folks, so where are we at? We got 85 people currently here. Be sure to hit that like button. Help me out. Help a brother out. That like button is going nowhere.
That was easy.
Tommy Untumbela is coming with some trolling of no consequence whatsoever. The racist language you're using there is going to get you spanked. Not yet, but I want to read this comment. The racist comment you said of white people calling blacks moving around in their own native country immigrants. This obsession that Zulus must leave or secede from South Africa. This is not 1652. I don't know what kind of horse shit you're spewing there, buddy, but we're going to talk about that. No one's talking about the Zulus seceding. That's up to the Zulu people to decide, not me. So they formed the Zulu Empire, which wasn't part of South Africa, and then it was absorbed by the British under the Union of South Africa Act. So not really sure what your historical ignorance is all about there, Tommy. Second, native country immigrants. Who's talking about white people telling black people that they're not native? That's nonsense. South Africans born in South Africa are, by definition, South African citizens. And if they belong to the ethnic groups of South Africa, they are part of those groups, whether they be Khoi, San, Xhosa, Zulu, Venda, Tswana, Sotho, Afrikaner, Portuguese, German. They're all South Africans. So you can take your garbage and move it elsewhere. You're not wanted here if you're going to behave like a fool. All right, session of the Zulu, so immigrants. But if you want to talk about the story, which is I think is what you're getting at, the Nguni-speaking peoples of South Africa are not native to South Africa. Now, you can say they're native now, but they're not from there. Their origin is not South Africa. They are migrants. They are immigrants. They are colonizers, just like virtually every human community is a colonizer. Virtually every human community. The Native Americans of America are not native. They came from Asia. The First Nations of Canada are the First Nations that formed in Canada, which is a better term for them. But they weren't native or indigenous to Canada. They migrated inward. Everyone who lives in Europe is an immigrant, a colonizer. They're people immigrated from Africa. And the same in Micronesia, the same in Australia. The Aborigines are not the original inhabitants. They migrated there. There were no Homo sapiens or hominids in Australia when they arrived. It's as simple as that. This is not rocket science. Why do you come in here with this garbage, Tommy Ndobela? What are you getting at there, man? Or did I misread your comment? If I misread your comment, I'll retract my statement. But I wasn't talking about black people and immigrants in 1652 to 1994 or Zulus. You brought that up. So what's your point in bringing it up? Maybe we missed your point. So please feel free to share it because I'm curious. Tommy Untabela. So let me go back to the chat. I've missed a lot. We've gotten through the news now. So where is that here? Okay. Thank you, Tony, for the super chat. Maybe Tommy's responding to comments in my chat. So I'll allow for that. Tommy, please feel free to comment. You're not sanctioned. You're not censored here. Okay. Dylan, your comment has been censored because of it's insensitive, not by me, but by YouTube. Wayne says, okay, got that. All right, that's where I was at earlier. So Costas will support the ANC until the end of time, says Willem van der Walt. Okay, Erica's there. Sedgefield is back. Wayne also asked, why does he need to reset? Why does South Africa president? Yeah, exactly. Why does South Africa? Yeah, why is the ANC revitalizing itself? Why is it reimagining? Well, it should reimagine itself. Anyway, people are only doing the tribal thing because they're being propagated by leaders. Exactly. You need leaders that talk about achievement, merit, equality, fairness, and respect, not the nonsense we get from our political leaders around the world. Patrick says that Charles wouldn't write it off, but something. Okay, what else you got here? Correct, Charles. Okay. Alan says, what's happening to Trump's sentencing? It's over, Alan. I've gotten to it, but you asked for that a short while ago. I answered it. The question was, there's no judgment, nothing, no fine, no jail time, nothing. He just has a felony conviction, which in itself is illegitimate. So the case is done. It's over. Nothing came of it. So they wasted all of our time and all that money to get their perp walk to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. They failed, so they've given up. They've given up. Problem with South Africa is the only possible way to get elected nationally is if you promise welfare and racial privileges for majority. William, there's some truth to that statement. It's the same thing as the white against the black. It's all based on what happened in the past. It's all leaders make us hate each other, stay in stand power. Yep, just like the comments coming a few minutes ago. When I was in Zululand, Ulundi 2 years ago, people there were proud to be of the Mfecane. It's kind of Napoleon conquest French. Yeah, proud of the Mfecane, in which millions of people were murdered, probably killed in conquest. But but no one's castigating the Zulu for that. It was hardly a sunny day. Least spoken about event in Southern Africa. What's that? The Mfecane? Not by me. I've talked about it endlessly. Teaching. Brush with your dog. What's this? William Spelling says very bad today. All right, and then Garrett, she was a porn star. Yeah, you're talking about Stormy Daniels. Well, with a name like Stormy, if leaders started saying we can work together, they would lose money because problems would actually get solved. Exactly. Again, folks, the perfect example, when I visited Port Elizabeth in 2022, Ronaldo Jose invited me down. I went to his offices, his ward offices, his ward counselor there, and he gave me a little tour of the beach area. And I saw the abolition units, which were destroyed by people, not maintained by the ANC, fell apart. People used it as a toilet. It wasn't a toilet, it was a shower. And the bricks stolen. Then he showed me the light poles, and they're all cut down and toppled over. And the reason they were cut down and toppled over, it wasn't for cable theft, although the cable was stolen after they were toppled. They were toppled by people with those saws that cut metal, because those are the people who are doing it on behalf of the companies that install those lights. So then the Nelson Mandela Bay had to come back and put a tender out, which was given to a BE company based on skin pigmentation, who were responsible for the vandalism in the first place, and they got paid 19,000 Rand for every light they replaced. This is what happens. This is what happens if you're dishonest. Well, we're not getting any money back from Ukraine. That money is gone. It's wasted in the lives of Ukrainians and Russians. Oh, now I'm buffering over here according to this. Interesting. Well, that ain't working. Am I still live? It says I'm not live. That's interesting. Am I live, guys? I am live. Okay. Well, YouTube's playing some games today. Eric, I went to dinner. Marilyn says, enjoy dinner. William says, the cape is becoming unrecognizable. Don't like it. They caught a guy trying to set fires in the alley. Wait for the story details. Exactly, Tony. Yep, there's arson going on there. John Huchy says, we definitely live in a clown shoe world. Yep. Every small dorpy I go to is now filled with immigrants from Eastern Cape as well, and these Zimbabweans. Informal settlements springing up all over. And then they demand services and say that these people aren't giving us services. You see they caught a guy? Yes. Yeah, I don't know if he's illegal, but I know they caught people for looting previous 2 nights, but now they've caught a guy who's setting the fires. Upload Central, so long as the people are fine, I don't really care since they should all have insurance, says Uplands. Well, they don't have insurance. You talking about it in Los Angeles? No, they don't, because insurance companies canceled, I think Allstate canceled the policies of thousands of people just 6 months ago, because they couldn't afford the policies because it's such a dangerous area to live in. Yeah, so a lot of people have no insurance whatsoever. They're just screwed. It's screwed. All right. The DA likes to brag that they spend rates on taxes and incentivize mass immigration, and they spend most Cape Town's budget on illegal squatter communities. William, I don't think that's accurate. They don't spend most of the budget on illegal squatter communities. In fact, that's one of the problems. They don't spend a whole lot of money there. But they don't do anything to discourage it. That's for darn sure. Jonathan says the world doesn't belong to America. Yeah, it does. Oil's traded in dollars. The world's currency reserve is dollars. You all use credit cards we invented, internet we invented, mobile telephones we invented, Starlink we invented, space travel we invented, pharmaceuticals we invented, the world, Hollywood we invented. It does belong to America. Medical costs in the USA is insane because of government intrusion in the marketplace and skewing the outcomes. The government guarantees payments for virtually all seniors, regardless of whether they had insurance or they can pay on their own, and therefore they skew it. The government sets the rates, they underpay the true cost, and therefore the rest of the cost is pushed on to private insurers, and insurers jack up their rates, and that's why it's so expensive. The cost of pharmaceuticals and the cost. But the quality of the care is incredible. Incredible. Yeah, Jonathan says the world doesn't belong to us, but I disagree. Presumably the DA are under the mistaken belief that spending money on people will get them to vote for you. I don't know many elections. No, you have to provide governance. Governance involves spending money. It involves doing your job. It involves communication with residents. It involves transparency. It involves law enforcement. It involves cleanliness. It involves vision for the future. That's what governance is. That's what's lacking in South Africa, governance. People keep talking about service delivery. Service delivery is just one aspect of governance. Upload says, I support her. She was my idol. Who was your idol? Who did I miss there? I'm back to the comment by Tommy. Rob Hersoff wants KZN to break away because Zuma doesn't like Israel. Really? I didn't know that. Shame always cry about the failure of black man, yet can't even fix a government that was given to him. History of the world is dark. Our ancestors had some horrible things. We don't live in a world in the past, what they did, we all need is help. Well, it's not the past. An 18-year-old girl was shot dead going to a tuck shop this week. She went out to get a sweet. 10 rand she borrowed to go buy a sweet, and she was gunned down, shot in the back by cowards who drove back and shot her again while she lay on the ground to ensure she couldn't be a witness to their crime. Unbelievable. Neville was born and bred in a trans guy. Since 94, the EC has been destroyed by the ANC, and yeah, it has. No, Ants, we didn't invent wokeness. No. You invented wokeness. Fees Must Fall came from South Africa. Bell Pottinger infiltrated South Africa, not America. No, we didn't invent wokeness. We got that disease from you all. We didn't have any of this crap 10 years ago. None of it. You invented it, and we followed. Nice try, Ants. No, nice try, Jan. We didn't have wokeness. I'm 59 years old. Again, never heard of wokeness. Never saw it professed in politics. Never saw it pushed by any political party. Never saw anything, even in social media when it came out, until after we started seeing the Fees Must Fall garbage in South Africa. That nonsense of freeloading and race hustling. That's where we saw it first. Why must fleas fall? Well, fleas must fall because they itch. That's a good question. 100%. I was there at UCT when it started, moved to Oxford, then America. Yep, Patrick. Facts. Exactly. Thank you very much. I'm one of the few people that state that unequivocally. Thank you, Patrick, for backing me up on that. Most people claim it came from America, including Helen Zilla. Where's her book at? Her book's here somewhere. Anyway, it's up there on the shelf somewhere. Woke, go broke. Yeah, she implies it came from America. Nope. Came from South Africa. We got it from you. We caught that flu from you. Is it realistic that we should see it? Upload Central is realistic. Well, I don't think so with Zuma live. With Zuma gone, I think it's a very real possibility. With Zuma there, Zuma wants to control the ANC. His feelings are hurt because he's a criminal and he was exposed as a criminal. He's functionally illiterate, and he's useless, and he's a gas bag, and he's a thief. According to court cases, not me. I'm not claiming that. That's according to court cases and allegations against him. That's what he is. He's all but convicted in the arms deal. Shabir Sheikh was found guilty. Judge Hillary Squire said that you were facilitated. It's clear by Jacob Zuma. He's not defending this case, so I can't judge against him. He said he was guilty in the arms deal, taking money, taking bribes. So he's just never been convicted because he just keeps running the clock out, and the cowardly justice system in South Africa won't prosecute him. It won't prosecute him. The only time that the ANC actually got some backbone is when he's a threat to their election prospects, and then they put him in jail for his behavior. But no, when Zuma's gone from the stage in 2, 3, 5, 10 years, whenever it is, there's a very real possibility that KwaZulu-Natal could go for secession. I've argued that it's much more likely than Cape secession, but Cape secession would follow in short order if it happens. There's not enough industry to sustain independence case then. Yeah, I don't know about that, Charles. There are plenty of countries that have no industry. Togo has no industry. Burkina Faso has virtually no industry. The list goes on and on. Countries don't have industry. Countries, Puntland and Somaliland are functioning. They have functioning governments. They have law enforcement. They have police. They impose taxes. They run bureaucracies. They provide services. They have no industry or resources. It's not a genuine issue, Charles. But your point is, it may never happen for political reasons, but it's not a question of economics. It's like the Western Cape. When the whole Western Cape secession thing came up, and I had Hein Marks and Phil Craig and Des Palma on my program from 3 different movements and interviewed them, the questions came fast and furious. What about this one? Well, what are they going to do for defense? What are they going to do for security? Folks, that's easy. That's not hard to do. We have recent cases. Sudan, South Sudan split. Eritrea split from Ethiopia. We've seen Slovakia break away from the Czech Republic in the Velvet Divorce. So there are examples of this, and it's very easy to do, actually. What you do is, let's just take we'll go with the Western Cape. Western Cape declares secession. The South African government recognizes it. And what happens? Well, they grant citizenship to all the people currently living there. And they can, on case by case, grant it to family members who are currently temporarily outside. They can even grant it to foreign nationals living there because that's their prerogative. As far as security, the existing police force will have an option, and the existing military will have an option to remain there or go to South Africa. Simple as that. Those who choose to remain can be incorporated into a new service, and you start from scratch. Estonia had to build an army out of nothing. It's Latvia and Lithuania, when they got their independence in the 1990s. They had to build an army. They did it successfully. Estonia did it with the help of a 2-star retired U.S. Army general who the Department of Defense tried to strip of his citizenship because he took up the chief of defense position in Estonia, which was asinine. What a better deal for America than to have a loyal American, was of Estonian origin, a loyal American 2-star general army receiving a retirement check from the army becomes the defense chief in Estonia, in a country we want to build relations as escapes the Cold War and the Warsaw Pact. That would have been perfect. But eventually they dropped the case against him. But yeah, so it's not hard to do. Cape Town has ports. Cape Town has electricity generation. Cape Town, the Western Cape has all the things it needs to succeed. It has the human capital, especially. And there you go, communications. So it'll be fine. William says Western Cape independence is a great idea, but its proponents appear utterly ineffectual. Well, I would agree. Yep, I agree. I think Floyd and Losey are under the impression that they will be able to ascend to the helm once. Yes, I think you're right. In the meantime, they get the nice grift, which is what they're looking for. Depends on what one defines as wokeness. The origin of what we regard as wokeness arguably began in the 60s. Okay, that's a fair... Okay, all right, well, let's come back to that. William Thunderbolt, I would agree. The wackadoodles, the lunatics, the anti-human, the anti-capitalist, the anti-Western, the anti-white, the anti-male scumbags that are responsible for wokeness, those origins started with the lunatics, the sexually permissive, drug-free culture of the 60s, and those scumbags weasel their way into academia, and from academia, they weasel their way into politics, and they destroyed us from within. 100% correct. You are correct about that. That did start in the 1960s in America. Spot on with that one. Paul Mashatili is a really dodgy dude. Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, what else? Western Cape independence. Okay, I got that. You see how the voters are just stupid. Look at what happened on July 21st in KZN. The plucked chickens follow. What happened on July 21st? Was it a by-election? Woke started with... I don't know about that, Richard. Daniel Joseph, new subscriber here. Loved your report in Greenland. Well, thank you, Daniel. It's a pleasure. Daniel, where are you from? You from the rest of the world or from South Africa? Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you found my report on Greenland because YouTube doesn't promote my content very much. I was actually surprised how many people watch it on this channel. So I've got three primary channels. One that gets the most attention, that's this one, at Colonel Chris Wyatt. At Real Chris Wyatt is my original channel that committed no offense but was sanctioned and censored by YouTube for almost 2 years, 23 months, put in the gulag, and they still have the censorship thumb on top of it. They just put weight on top of the channel so nobody finds my videos. So when I do a video that I think is particularly important and it's not related to my Africa videos on this channel, I'll put it on here just because I hope for views. That one's got 3,500 views. So thank you, Daniel, for coming on the program. Appreciate you subscribing. And again, if you don't mind, oh, you're in Louisville, Kentucky. Well, there you go. Some more Americans. Yeah, no, Daniel, I need more Americans. And hopefully you know about that channel as well, at Real Chris Wyatt. Please subscribe to that one as well, Daniel. Louisville, Kentucky, man. Hey, I've been down that way. I've been that way a few times. I used to go to Fort Knox. In fact, my first dress uniform as an officer, I purchased in Fort Knox. My friend Tony Wright, who later became one-star general in the Oklahoma National Guard. He's a one-star general right now. I think he's retiring. He and I were at Ohio University, and we took a trip down there together to purchase our uniforms because they don't give them to you. So you had to buy a dress uniform. And the reason I had to buy one is I already had a dress uniform, but the enlisted uniform is different. It doesn't have the stripes sewed down the outside of the legs. We have black stripes that go down the outside of the officer's trousers. And also you have around the wrist right here, you have black braid for an officer on both sides. So, some people are cheap. They take their enlisted uniform and just sew the braid on, but it looks tacky. So we just bought new uniforms. And that was my first commissioned officer uniform, dress green uniform down at Fort Knox, which isn't in Louisville, but it's in that general vicinity. So, yeah. Well, thank you for joining us here. Cool beans. Daniel, this channel does a daily news program, which you've caught today. It starts, it's based on South Africa time because I have a global audience that's kind of like in the middle of the world. And so a lot of my content is focused on Africa. So we start with South Africa. We work our way around Africa. Then we hit hotspots around the world that either are being talked about or are not being talked about, where I'm predicting future events. So I've covered in the past events that no one else is covering, like Myanmar and Sudan, things happening in those places. And then also I covered all kinds of things like volcanoes in the Canary Islands and, explosions, tsunamis, nuclear power, energy, farming, whatever you take it. And then we work our way back to Europe and eventually get back to the U.S. and North America. And that's the final report as I do on the U.S. every day. So if you tune in and you just want to hear U.S. news, you want to come in towards the end of the report. And it runs from 30 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes roughly for the news, depending on events of that day. Also do prepared videos, a lot of prepared videos on this channel, a lot of them on Africa because I get most views on that. But on my other channel, because of the suppression, I don't get many views. I've done, I covered the elections in 2020. I was on for 9.5 hours straight. That video is still on. Live coverage of the election results. I even had people call in that night so I could go to the restroom. But yeah, so I do a lot of things. I'm a guest on many programs, John B. Wells' Caravan to Midnight, Alex Newman's Sentinel Report, other programs as well. I just did 3 or 4 different programs the past week. And I interview guests on here. Yesterday we had a gentleman who is a conservationist and ornithologist, Matthew Orlowitz, talking about the possible extinction of a rare bird in South Africa, the Botha's lark. And I have political parties. If you look, I just did an interview with the parliamentary leader of Action SA, an opposition party in South Africa, about questions they had in Parliament. So we do lots of things here. Also, so that's 2 channels. So the focus right now is mostly, this channel is on African world news, which will include the U.S. sometimes. The other channel is focused almost exclusively on U.S. events and news. I don't put as much time into it because I'm not getting rewarded. I did a video that got 150,000 views a few weeks back, but it's the first time it broke through since they censored my channel. But then I immediately went back down to nothing, and YouTube keeps taking my subscribers away. So this channel is actually on the verge, the cusp, after going on 4 years of this channel being around, of surpassing the count on my original channel, which had 23,000 subscribers after 5 months, up from 2 from having a channel for 15 years. Anyway, so that's a little bit about this, Daniel. I hope you find it useful. Used to deliver furniture on Fort Knox all the time. It's about 40 minutes. Yeah, that's why I mentioned Louisville. I've been at, that county where Fort Knox is at is a dry county. So if you want a beer, you can drink it on post, but you go off post to Elizabethtown, whatever the town is right there, you can't drink beer. You got to drive the county line. There was a bar down there when I went there for my cadet troop leader training, CTLT. Down there, I spent 3 weeks at Fort Knox, and I went to County Line. It's a bar down there. Because I used to watch ball games because there were no bars in Elizabethtown. So you seldom report on the Ukraine war. That's not true, Jenkins. I was among the very first journalists to actually talk on it. I don't do much about it today because there's nothing to report. I report on it maybe once or twice a week because there's no real developments. 2 days ago, I reported on it. There's not much going on. It's just more death, carnage, and destruction. But early on, I actually created a whole new channel called Paladin Warrior, as I was going to do news reporting on there, but nobody was tuning in. So I still have the channel called Paladin Warrior, but I don't put anything. I haven't put anything on it in months. I'm going to have to go back and make sure it stays active. But anyway, I did report on the Ukraine war extensively. I reported on the Ukraine war before it happened, Jenkins. Before the war happened, I'm almost the only one on the planet that was reporting on this. When Putin moved 60,000 troops to the border of Belarus and Ukraine in the spring of 2022, 2021, excuse me, 6 weeks after Biden became president, I warned people that he's serious, that Biden in office, if he makes any missteps, that Putin is going to cross the border because Biden won't do anything. And what happened? That's exactly what happened. And I used to report on it quite a bit, but I'm not reporting as much anymore. There's so much other stuff to report on. But if you want to hear Ukraine stuff, Jenkins, I can do that. The Beatles were the harbingers of the end of civilization. Okay, that's interesting. If you start reporting on Trump-related news, you'll probably get more views. I was recommending your video. I did, Daniel. I did a lot of stuff on Trump, and you know, maybe I just start making more short videos on it. But I did a lot of reporting on Trump, but I was censored by YouTube, and I'll try it. But you got to understand that censorship is real. I'm not complaining about it. It's a statement of fact. It's real. YouTube is still doing it, and the proof of the pudding is on my channel. You know, I put a video on there and YouTube doesn't promote it. And I look at the stats and it says, you know, from YouTube up next or YouTube, on the YouTube channel, like 5% of the views come from that and nobody watched it. On here, I can get, 80 to 90 if it's the right video on the topic. But I'll put more on there. In fact, I'll do one about the conviction today. Once I get done here, I'll record a video for the other channel. But yeah, anyway, so yeah. But the problem is this, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube has the best business model for content creators. Now, they're greedy little bastards taking 45% of the ad revenue, but I don't begrudge them that. They create the ecosphere. They do the auction for the ads. I do nothing except create content, and they put it on there, and they take 45%. I'm okay with that. But when they take 30% of my super chat revenue, which is entirely driven by your interest or my talent or a combination of the two, or you're just trying to have fun, that's my effort. Yes, the platform is there. Yes, it costs money. Yes, they store my data for free. But 30% is excessive. 15%, I think, is too much. 10 to 15%. And that's super chats. And they do the same thing on memberships. So anyway, but whatever. I don't complain about YouTube. Richard says, I started a degree at Wits, resigned from university. My prof gave me way too much BS because I had served. One day, he took a long step. Okay. Jonathan says, Putin has every right to stop NATO expansion. No, he doesn't. He has every right to complain about it, and he has every right for an expectation that NATO doesn't expand, but it's too late. They've already ringed Russia. Putin's actions by invading Ukraine were dumb. As a consequence, Finland, a country an entire verb was created for, Finlandization, talking about the forced neutrality of a weak neighbor who is castrated, Finlandization. Finland joined NATO. Sweden joined NATO. Good Lord, are you serious? So Finland, Sweden, Norway, all the northern part basically ringing. I mean, I know that Sweden and Finland are over here and Finland's there, and Sweden and Norway are here and Finland's here. But the point is that that whole Arctic passage, they're bounded, Russia. They're blocked on the Arctic passage by NATO members. The eastern border, the longest one, 1,200 kilometers, is with Finland now. Then Poland has a border with them. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania have borders with them, all NATO partners. Romania. It's just, look, this is no, that's a mistake. I think President Trump will be able to influence. Yes, I do, Jenkins. I think he do. It won't end on day one. That's silly. That's ridiculous. But Trump has to signal that we're not going to fund Joe Biden's proxy war anymore because, son of a bitch, the prosecutor was fired. Yeah. Now, we're not going to do Joe Biden's proxy war anymore. If Trump signals that, then the war will come to an end. It will come to an end. And what will happen, and it goes back to my point from the very beginning, talking about the Ukraine war, what were his strategic objectives? I've said this all along. Other people have copied what I said. You can go back and watch the video. I've made this point all along with very little diversion or deviation from my point. The reason that Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine is because he was pissed off at Ukraine because Volodymyr Zelensky, the grifter-in-chief, refused to be a pliant client state. Now, I'm not saying Ukraine should be a pliant client state, and it's right for them to be one, but that's what Putin wanted. He wanted Ukraine to be like Belarus. Belarus does what they're told by Russia. They tolerate everything Russia says. They get along okay. That's what he wanted from Ukraine. No diversion and no NATO coming in there. So when Putin had these conversations and Zelensky told him to get stuffed, it made him angry. So he moved troops to the border to intimidate Ukraine to behave. Didn't work. Joe Biden proved what a feckless coward he is when Myanmar's military overthrew the government 9 days after Joe Biden became president. The military overthrew a democratically elected government of Myanmar, a thoroughly corrupt but democratically elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi, and then imprisoned her, the nearly 80-year-old septuagenarian, illegitimately. So Biden said and did nothing about that, and he's still done virtually nothing about it 4 years later. So when that happened, Putin says, okay, and he moves 60,000 troops. Nothing happens. Biden doesn't say anything. I report on it. I talk about it. I'm like, hey, there's Russian troops in there. Biden says nothing. He does nothing publicly or privately. So goes unnoticed. So then Biden does the botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, lying about America being engaged in a war, which we weren't in. We hadn't fought in combat in 18 months in Afghanistan, although there were troops there training the Afghans and providing a credible deterrent to the Taliban. They didn't fight the Taliban. But Joe Biden lied about that, got 13 Americans dead, and an embarrassing, the worst and most embarrassing withdrawal since we were dropping Huey helicopters off of aircraft carriers off the coast of Vietnam in 1975. Terribly embarrassing. Even worse than Desert One, a rescue attempt in 1979, 1980 by the military in Iran. So Joe Biden proved what a coward he is, how he's not going to take any steps to stop a bully like Putin. So Putin is ready. Boom. Builds up his military. He asks for concessions for 3-4 months. No concessions coming from Ukraine. And then he invades. Simple as that. So what were strategic objectives? A pliant state. Short of that, he wanted the eastern third of Ukraine to be reincorporated into Russia up the Dnieper River, which is basically Kiev, and comes straight down and bisects the country. So 2/3 of what is currently Ukraine is in the west, 1/3 is in the east, and Russia would claim all that. The Russian forces' idiotic operational plan made no sense whatsoever. They fought multi-pronged, uncoordinated attacks launched at different times in different places with not mutually supporting fires. From the south, they came up. They attacked in the Caspian Sea, then or the Black Sea. Then on top there, the Black Sea. Then they also launched in Donetsk in that region. And then they also launched towards Kiev and in the northeast. And then they used their aircraft and missiles to fire at Lvov and places like that, which is Poland, not Ukraine, but it's part of Ukraine today. It made no sense. It was a disconcerted effort. There should have been a simple plan. Either you go for Kiev and take the capital and make them capitulate, which is part of their objective, or you focus on the Donetsk and on Crimea. You come up from there, the two armies come this way, you link, you cut off that eastern third, and problem solved. Anyway, so my thought is that now what will happen is the Donbass and the Crimea will be conceded to Russia, and that'll be done and dusted. And there'll be no question about it. The war will end at some point, and both sides are exhausted. They'll rebuild their military capability for a future date when they can resume this war after Trump is gone. That's my thoughts. Tommy's back. Okay, there won't be a Western Cape independence for the sake of your children, grandchildren, majority of whites in South Africa need to change. Your arrogance won't assist you. Well, speaking of arrogance, Tommy, your bigotry racism coming in here. You're the one with the arrogance here. What do white South Africans have to change about? What exactly do they have to change? That's pretty arrogant to tell people they have to change. Also to tell 4.8 million people that they have to change. Maybe your black supremacy attitude ought to change. You're no better than anyone else. You're not better than me. I'm not better than you. I'm more polite than you. But that's a different story. We are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, chief among them are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Case closed. Futsec if you don't agree with that. Yeah, they need to change. Well, you need to change. You need an attitude adjustment. You're just coming here trolling and spewing nonsense. I gave you an opportunity. I'm not going to censor you yet. I gave you an opportunity to offer something of substance here, but you're just race hustling. And we don't need race hustlers. Black supremacists and white supremacists are little shitheads, and they can go in a corner and, hate wank themselves into an orgasm. But we don't need them here. So we don't need them here. Part of your problem, Tommy, is you're coming on my channel and your idiotic false presumption is that this is a white audience. I can look in the chat and I see 1/3 to half of it aren't even white people. So that's your problem, for starters. Yeah, you just assume a lot of things because you made an ignorant, arrogant assumption based on my appearance and my skin pigmentation. You presume something based on my appearance. I didn't presume anything based on your name, your Nguni origin name. I didn't make any assumption there. And in fact, I asked you to clarify your statement, but nope, you're going to come back with more nonsense. Hate wank, that's an amazing expression. Well, thank you, Tiana. I invented that. I invented that. That's my creation. Never heard it once before. Never heard anybody repeat it until I did. Hate wankers. Because, wankers is, of course, a British expression. And when all these trolls were attacking people on YouTube and on social media, I started calling them hate wankers because all they're doing is spreading hate. They're spreading hate. And Tommy, you're welcome to hang around here. You don't have to go anywhere, but stop the nonsense. Stop the propaganda that you're listening to. How many white people do you actually know, Tommy? I assume you're black based on your comments. You could be a white person, impersonating a black person with this nonsense, but presumably your name, Tame Ontumbela, means you're a black South African. Based on that name, it's an origin of South Africa. So if that's true, how many white people do you hang out with? How many do you know? If you attend a university, did you go to Matrix with someone who's white, brown, colored folks, Indians? Anyway, yeah. But no, I love the hate wank term. It's one I came with. Let me take a look, folks. Got 82 people here, 85 likes. Be sure to hit that like button. It's costing you nothing but a moment of your time.
That was easy.
It is so easy to do. By the way, I'm under the weather. I got the early stages, what it feels like a flu virus coming. It might just be tired from all the work I did last night. I didn't come home until after 10 o'clock working on the Veterans Organization things, and I've got a lot of work to catch up on that later today. So maybe it's that, but I woke up with that kind of like when you feel the muscles, you can feel something like it's coming on. Right now I feel okay. Took a couple of aspirin, or acetaminophen, not aspirin, and I'm feeling better. But I'm here working, feeling like I'm going to get ill. It appears that Tommy assumed my race based on my name. In a world where we can't assume people's genders, I don't see how we can assume people's races. Yeah, and William van der Walt, that's a huge mistake in South Africa. I mean, so many times you see a Dutch or Huguenot or German name, less so the Germans, but a lot of Dutch and Huguenot names in South Africa. And, okay, they're not white. They're colored South Africans. So, yeah, you got to be careful with assumptions here. So my audience knows I don't tolerate bigots and racists. My audience also knows that if they misbehave and I catch it, then they're going to get time out or they're going to have their comment removed. And my audience knows that I am a strong advocate and promoter of Afrikaans, the colored community, of Sotho, and of Tswana. So anyway, I'm a special old white toppy. Now you're white, Hendo? Okay, so yeah, but Neville, I see your comment. I'll read Neville's comment, and then I'm going to add something to it to give some context. Neville says, the 65-year-old white, born, bred South Africa, however due to be the black population become privileged and most racist grouping. Well, hey, there's a big super chat coming in from Tion. But I will not correct, but modify your statement with the following addendum to it. Not all black South Africans are privileged or elite or feel entitled. That's a segment of the black population in South Africa, just like it's a segment of the white population. You see the leftist hate wankers in South Africa who attack people, and you know who the usual suspects are, and they just go after people with fraudulent arguments and try to destroy them. It's because they're just evil people, and they're privileged and elite. And then they deign to talk. It's like John Kerry, climate change, and the dude's flying around in a private jet everywhere. Okay, thank you for that. Shut up and sit down in the corner. We don't hear it. But Tion Engelbrick says, kudos to you, sir. You've claimed that word as your own creation. I applaud you. The comedic value of your channel is so good. You're the best, Colonel. I totally wish you the best. Well, thank you, Tion. It's very, very kind of you. Bye, donkey. Thank you so much for that. Yep. I agree. It's not everyone. No, it's not everyone. It's a small segment. It's like racists. Races exist. A racist is somebody who holds in their heart that one race, and we're all one single race. That's why it's so silly. That one race is better than another, or provides advantages or disadvantages for or against a group of people based on their racial affiliation or origins. It's fortunately the number of people that are racist is very tiny. And they come from all stripes and all colors, thankfully. But the number of people who are race hustlers, woo, baby, that's off the charts. Race hustlers are off the charts. Off the charts. The number of people who are actually race hustlers who use race to divide people is extensive. And that's sad. That is super sad. But you know what? All we can do is expose them and combat them. William, I don't know that Tommy blocked you. I can see Tommy. I don't know. Did you get blocked? Well, I can see Tommy's comments. So anyway, I want to take a look at videos here. So the Athol Trollope video is up. Now that's just a partial video. I set up an interview with Athol Trollope. I didn't mention it because I wanted to get him on, but then Biz News also got him on. So that went to press before I did. Didn't know that, but he mentioned it when we were talking. He'd already just done a Biz News interview with Alex Hogue. So I did the interview with Athol, and it ran over an hour. That would include our comments before and after. So I took the first portion, which was about the blue lights and how every minister, I think that's important, so I should mention that. So the question that Action SA asked in Parliament of John Steenhuisen, they didn't ask just him. They asked every ministry about the blue lights. Did the press tell you that? Did the press tell you that? I mean, unless he's lying to me. I have no cause to believe he's lying to me. He's never lied to me before. But did the press tell you that the question action essay asked about blue lights, that they ask it of every minister? I didn't know that. It appears by all appearances that, that they were targeting the Democratic Alliance, which suits the narrative of the media, so that people are at each other's throats. So we didn't know that. You'll find that out if you watch that video. So that is the first video in, I don't want to say a series, but there'll be other ones that I take portions of that interview, pull them out, and produce video. And then when I've done that, I'll produce the whole interview so you can watch the whole thing in sequence about what happened. So yeah, anyway, hopefully you find it interesting. But how's it doing? It's not doing great. Published it when we went live here just a few minutes before I went live with this show. And that video is at 422 views. I'm not doing great. It's below my norm right now. So yeah, YouTube's not promoting my stuff again. They were for a week or so there, but they're not now. Point is, all the talk of white privilege, but affirmative action policies have created black privilege. And yeah, of course they have. Yep. Dylan says, I think mainly the B positive blood group is all I know. Well, I'm B positive. My forefather, Carl Kuhn, arrived in 1856 in a good ship, Genoa. One of his sons married a Boer woman descended from French Huguenot who married a Malaysian slave girl. No, well, you're an Afrikaner, which 5 to 15% of the DNA of the average Afrikaner is African or Asian. Statement of fact, there, folks. It's DNA. People can lie about it. They can ignore it, but it's true. That's why. Remember the white couple who had the child who appeared to be colored, and during the late stage of apartheid, she's like 56 or something like that now. She was ostracized. They kicked her out of the school because they said she was colored and she came from 2 white parents. The woman's reputation was tarnished. They claimed she'd been sleeping with a black man. It wasn't the case. The child was hers, and the child was the father's. It's just the quirks of DNA. And so she had a sibling who didn't look anything like her. It just came out that way. And then she wound up marrying a black man, and she's had not a very good life. So William Fundervall wants to know my view on the Zama Zama debacle. So if we still got the gentleman from Kentucky here, the Zama Zama it's a term for illegal miners. These are people that illegally invade disused mines or mining areas, and they do dangerous mine work and looking for gold or whatever it is. And we don't use the term here, but we also have illegal miners in North America. But it's a huge problem in South Africa in particular, where there's over 6,000 disused mines, many of which have remaining deposits of whatever was not taken by the big corporations because it became unprofitable to extract it in large numbers. But these people go in and then they extract stuff from the mines, particularly gold. And so the Zama Zamas, I've talked about the Zama Zamas endlessly. I've put videos up about the Zama Zamas. The people in the mines, this is their fault. If they want to be fed, if they want to get water, if they want to breathe fresh air, then come out of the mine. You've committed a crime going in there. I have no sympathy, and I would not be the judge that ordered the state to feed or clothe them. That's their responsibility. And when they come out, they'll be arrested, they'll be processed, and they can go from there. That's my thoughts on it. IQ does vary according to race and breeding, but yes, you do find prodigies in no genes, all races. Tony had to check his privilege card, huh? Or Sandra Lang. Yep, thank you, William. That's right. Sandra Lang is her name. Very sad story. She's still alive last time I checked. What did Tabela say? Did I miss something from him? No, I don't see anything there. All right, so let me look over here in my studio. No, nothing there. So what else? Critical thinking is not very common nowadays. Yep. Hey, Arctic, how's it going? How you doing? Where are you at today? You out on the West Coast? You flying over those fires in LA? You fly one of those Canadian water boats, dropping the water on the fire? Got hit by a drone? Dang, that was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, lots of rugby. Yes, thank you. I was just about to get to that, Hendo. Tomorrow, for rugby fans, on Rugby Ascendant, my third main channel on YouTube, we are doing rugby. We got 4 games tomorrow and 1 on Saturday. Let's see. Tomorrow we've got the Stormers at home playing. Again, I think it's against Sale Sharks. Actually, the best way for me to do this is just look up the banners that I made because it's hard to remember all these. Let me get over here to my other drive. Come on, be nice. Be nice. Come on. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, so I'm looking in this folder. Okay, let me get to another folder. It's all the stuff I have to do just to get to things. So where's it at? There's smarter ways to do it this way. Okay, rugby banners. Where you at? Where you guys hiding at? There they are, all the way down here at the end. All right, so now it takes a second for it to refresh the index and show me the files. Oh, that's taking longer than it should. All right, there we go. So tomorrow, Stormers versus Sale Sharks. That's the first game. Then we've got Sharks versus Stade Toulousain. Those are both games in South Africa. And then the other South African sides are all on the road. Montpellier is hosting the Lions in the Challenge Cup. And then Castres Olympique is hosting the Bulls. Those are the 4 games I'm covering tomorrow. Stormers, Sharks, Lions, Bulls. On Sunday, it's the Cheetahs in Amsterdam hosting Zebra Parma in a game that the Cheetahs should win easily, but they've not always lived up to their billing. So that's this weekend. Also, starting next week, I'll be back again once again on Megaphone Rugby with M. Via Velman. That's next week. He took a break for the holidays, although videos are getting published on his channel by Harry. It's not videos he's making. So that'll be next week, and I'll be back on there if you want to catch me on there as well. So there you go. Did my part over Christmas and New Year's. Now time for some Bryfly and whiskey. Okay, where'd your comment go? It just disappeared. Okay. Yeah, the Rand is crap. It's time for me to come back to South Africa. The Rand is over 19-1. That's looking good for me. The only problem regarding the blue light question was that there was only 2 responses from 2 parties. Only response from 2 parties. Yeah, and they're the ones that it made it look like Robert Franklin Moore. It made it look like the questions were directed only at them. That's why it was good for me to interview Athol Trollope, who said that every one of the questions, every ministry got the question. That's just the only ones that responded. The media don't tell you that. They don't tell you that. Hey, Tony, what's up? Didn't catch some of what the chat. Okay, wait till winter. I see R25. Oh, I'll tell you what, 125 Rand. I might be buying MTN Group. The Rand goes to 30-1. I'll be buying Armscore. Maybe the ArcelorMittal plant. It gets much better. You'll even entice Hendo to come back to South Africa. He's a political refugee who fled South Africa 30 years ago. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, yeah. So the Trumpster, nothing out of it. So I'll do a video on that one, okay? I'll go halves and we can buy CR shares in McDonald's. There you go, Arctic. There you go. McDonald's is a moneymaker, even though it's struggling right now. In fact, I need to go to McDonald's and try their new value meal. I did the $5 thing in December a couple times. Wasn't bad. You got a McChicken sandwich, I think it was, and 4-piece chicken McNuggets, French fries, and a Coke for $5. That was actually not bad. Athol should also have given the replies from the others by name. Yeah, Robert Franklin, well, there's a lot more to the interview. You may have missed that. I did an hour-plus interview with him, and I've just uploaded the first portion of it because time was a constraint. Also, I'm trying to get the most value out of this, so see how many people watch these. So that first video is up. There'll be another one, probably maybe 3 or 4 possibly out of it, and then the entire interview will be posted online next coming days, okay? McDonald's value meal, $60 steak at Newark, never again. Wow. You paid $60 for a steak? I ain't doing that. Gee, many crickets. See, that's the problem. You come over here, Arctic, you get paid in our dollars, and then you have to buy stuff with our inflation, and you don't have much to take home. You got to live frugally, buddy. Go get some ramen. Go to the Dollar Tree. Go to the Dollar General and buy your food there. Robert says, thanks, Chris. You're welcome, Robert. Also, who cares? It's not like the government will change their policies with blue lights. Also, if John removed the lights, he would have to pay to do it and spent nothing on the cars. Well, actually, PK, that's the question I said. I asked the question, I said, would it be satisfactory if he disabled the lights? Because it's silly to take them off and put them back. It costs money and time. He made the point about how they're going to have to get new vehicles soon because they've reached their service life. You can only have those vehicles so long, and that's fair. And then that'll be in the budget. And then someone's going to come back next year and say, why did you buy a 2 million Rand, BMW? Well, because it was time. Drop in a bucket says, very few purebred white European South Africans in this country. I am like most a true product of this Rainbow Nation. Nothing makes me more proud. There's a super chat from Arctic. That should be about half of CR stock in 3 months. Well, it's half his credibility right now. Roger Rabbit's back. Welcome to you. And very few purebreds. Yeah, no, look, drop in a bucket. Most white South Africans have a slight mix of something else. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And you can see it in the appearance. And so just be who you are. I remember when I did my first DNA test, okay? And I've showed you guys my DNA results on here more than one occasion. I'm not going to get into it today. But when I did my first DNA test with Ancestry.com back in the day, this must have been 2012, And when it came down to affordable, it was $99 then. It's the first time it went under $100. So I think it was $99. So I ordered a test kit. I was in Germany. Sent it in the mail. Went back to the States. It took weeks for it to happen. And then I happened to be on a cruise ship in Stockholm, headed to the Öland Islands in Finland, where they speak Swedish. Spent 2 weeks there on holiday. So I was headed there, and I wanted to check my results to see if they came in. And this young German girl was having trouble making a phone call. Anyway, so she said something to me, and I said, yeah, no, I was trying to check my online, but, she said, well, there's Wi-Fi on the ship. Oh, wow, 2012, they had Wi-Fi. So I went on the Wi-Fi, and I looked at my email, and I had a message from Ancestry, and I pulled it up. Now, before I got my DNA results, people said this and that. What about this? What if you've got Jewish ancestry? What if you've got black ancestry? I'm like, yeah, what about it? It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change my appearance. It doesn't change my demeanor. It doesn't change my character. It doesn't change who I am. If I did have that stuff, it would make for an interesting aspect for me to delve into of history. Also, then I could claim, the mantle of people of color nonsense or whatever. So, but no, I am white bread as it comes. I am Celtic, Anglo-Saxon, Germanic, Scandinavian, all day long, every day. That's who I am. That's what's in my DNA. So, and I don't care where the DNA comes from. All I can say is that this is real. It's all me, and I'm happy about that, and I'm healthy. So, exactly, your DNA does not make the man. It's just like the argument that I had. Who did I have this argument? Not argument, a conversation with someone. Just had this conversation about. Oh, it was Ronaldo. It was on Wednesday. It was Ronaldo on Wednesday. We had this conversation about origins, and I said that America is unique in that it's a country where what your parents did do not matter. You are not burdened by the sins of your parents in this country. You have agency. You can become whoever you want to be. You can rise above whatever station you find yourself in life. You can be a success in our system, and that's the deal. No one blames you for the Crusades. No one blames you for the killing of Apache Indians 150 years ago. That's not you. But now we have leftists trying to blame us for systemic racism and for slavery. None of us had anything to do with slavery, ever. That's been gone since 1865. So that was the magic of America, and that has been tainted. We all need to get to the point that the fact that your parent was a toilet cleaner because they were a lower caste in India doesn't mean you can't become a world-class physicist. That's the world we should live in. Anyway, so yeah, your DNA is nothing. Yeah, Garrett is purely Germanic in his DNA. Yep. Anyway, where did Attila the Hun come from? Asia. Asia, Tony. You know where he came from. Attila the Hun. It's funny because in order to demonize Germans, the propaganda in the First World War called the Germans the Huns. But they weren't Hungarian, and they had nothing to do with Attila. They were victims of Attila. It's pretty funny. The Asian steppes is correct, Charles. That's where they came from. Same place the Mongols came from. Just they came a little further east of there. Louis Liebenberg has lost his mind. What did he say, Art? Well, I didn't hear it. What did Louis Liebenberg do? Is it in the news? I haven't seen anything on Louis Liebenberg for a while. Louis. Louis Liebenberg, okay. Okay, come on, give me the news. No, there's nothing. Nope. Nothing here. I don't see it. Unless your parents came in illegally, then you should. Yeah, well, that's different. That's a different story. Jenkins says, and some Neanderthal. Who's got Neanderthal? Oh, I've got some Neanderthal. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've got Neanderthal markers. Absolutely. That's probably why I'm so clever. I'm partly Asian then, says Tony. Yeah, you're Central Asian. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. It's where the Hungarians come from. It's a fact. It's on X under Gulam's post. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. Let me look and see. Thank you for that. Twitter. Let me can see. Gulam. Okay. Goolam. Gulam. Okay. 142,000 subscribers. Boy, I'm envious of that. Okay, here we go. Okay. Greetings, sir. Can you please give an update about the diamond your wife got from Louis Liebenberg? You said it will be returned. I don't expect an apology. Oh, this is Paul Mashatili. So, all right, this is Louis Liebenberg. Let's see what this is about. It sounds like he's speaking in Nguni language.
Poor Masatile, I gave his wife, and Hein did fetch it from the back of the car, a 1.09 character H VVS1 diamond to the value of about 109,000. The circumstances were such that I was illustrating goodwill, the same as I've done to Umshalosi when I sent in advance 2 cattle of Nguni. That is what Afrikaners do. That is what we are known for. Basic humanity.
So how's he lost his mind? I don't see how they lose his mind. Where's that coming from? Chris Pappas has really created great change. Oh, he has. I've interviewed Chris Pappas several times in person and at a distance in Howick in Umgeni. Skeptic says your anger has no intelligence. Whose anger? Who's angry here, Skeptic? What are you? Are you drinking something? You have a little chibuku there? I'd say ease up on the alcohol if that's... No one here is angry. Who's angry? There's no angry going on here. Yeah, these call the Germans Huns. It was stupid. It had no application. Unbelievable. Random classical music generator. What? Because you're just dropping stuff. Dropping a book says Neanderthal genes probably explains your attitude. No, it explains my ability to, sense danger. Neanderthals are very good at sensing danger. That's why they survived for so long. It's a new post from today during his bail hearing. Well, wasn't that new? Let me see the latest. That's 6 hours ago. 11 hours ago, 9 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 12 hours ago. Oh, here it is. This is from 15 hours ago. This is in prison, it looks like. Jacobson's close ally and friend, funder, alleged diamond fraudster, open, just say he refers to black people. Oh. Well, I don't want to get censored. Let's see. Ooh, okay. All right. So, all right. I'm going to have somebody, translate this for me so I don't get in trouble. I'll just play a second of it. Is that the one? That sounds a little crazy there in prison. He's holding court in prison. Who's got phones in prison recording this stuff? I mean, seriously. The first one wasn't from prison, but that one looks like it's from prison. 100,009 rand. What's R109K being from? I have no idea what that is. What are you talking about? Altitude. Oh, you did say altitude. Oh, my height. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, maybe the genes are one reason why, I'm better adapted to the cold than a lot of folks. But I'm sure that, over thousands of years that gets degraded. I mean, I just have some markers. I'm not, I'm certainly not full-on Neanderthal. Oh, there's no K word in. Okay, thank you, Arctic. I'm going to take your word for that, buddy, so I don't get in trouble. We don't want to hear the frauds attack me, and accuse me of, doing something I didn't do by reporting it. Let's put it on there. Okay. All right. So here we go. This is from TikTok.
God will judge you. God will judge you. Love you, my baby.
Oh, that's not prison.
Don't discriminate against my wife because of me. Because I have got guts.
Oh, there's Desi. Okay, Court, that makes more sense. That was Desi there. When was that from? Lucky man, my wife is complete Africana from across the river, says Charles. Too much milk. Oh. I thought it was a jail cell, but apparently it's not. It was the first bail hearing. Yeah, exactly, Garrett. That's what I thought. Anyway, that's being posted today. I don't get why that's being posted. People are just looking for attention there. So anyway, I only showed it because Arctic made it talk about him losing his mind, so I thought there was something happening. But no, that's from like a month ago. Yeah, a long time ago. Yep. He's also been in prison before. He's in prison in the past. Telegraph reports man arrested on suspicion. Yes, Kevin Ziller, you're correct. I covered that earlier that an arsonist has been arrested. They're suspected arsonists that they're trying to track down. All this talk about wildfires is bullshit. They keep going on with this wildfire bullshit and ignoring the fact that there have been multiple arsonists suspected, caught, and accused. All three of those. Yeah, it's old. It's old video. Got it. Okay. And that's why, look at the crap storm you started, Artie, by telling me that he's losing his mind. It was something new. There's nothing new. That was published today. So Gulam is publishing stuff that's, old news. That's what I figured. So anyway, you mean well, though, so my feelings aren't hurt. Anyway, all right, so let's get back to the Trump deal, fans. Let's get back to the Trump deal. Donald Trump has got no jail time, no fine, and nothing comes of this nonsense. So what's going on? I didn't realize the screen was open there. Do we have the face? How is that on the screen? I don't remember. There we go. All right, so let's go to the news. We'll look up some news sources here and look at what they're saying about Donald Trump not getting anything out of this. So here we go, news. That's going to be the top story on Google. Trump is sentenced in his hush money case, but the judge denies to impose any sanctions. Takeaways from the hearing. Let's take a look at that. A surreal finish to the historic criminal trial. Yeah, it's a surreal, all right. So let's take a look at this, folks. There we go. Okay. Trump is sentenced in his hush money case, but the judge declines to impose any punishment. So no punishment whatsoever. Talk about anticlimactic. Oh, my goodness. President-elect Donald Trump was sentenced Friday in his hush money case, but the judge declined to impose any punishment, an outcome that cements his conviction while freeing him to return to the White House unencumbered by threat of a jail term or a fine. The punishment-free judgment marks a quiet end to an extraordinary case that for the first time put a former president and major presidential candidate in a courtroom as a criminal defendant. The case was only one of 4 criminal indictments that has gone to trial, and possibly the only one that ever will. Judge Juan Merchan could have sentenced the 78-year-old to 4 years in prison. Instead, he chose a sentence that sidestepped thorny constitutional issues by effectively ending the case, but assured that Trump will become the first person convicted of felony to assume the presidency. And that felony conviction will be overturned and dismissed because of a corrupt trial. The conduct of Judge Merchan is suspect. He committed so many legal missteps and overreaches that this conviction will be set aside. It's just a question of when it goes. So hopefully Trump has attorneys working on this while he's serving, and they can get this thing tossed out and the conviction overturned. Yeah, well, his decision, the conviction is going to be overturned. The jury was a setup. There's no change of venue. Utterly ridiculous nonsense taking place. So here are the takeaways according to CNN. It's an unprecedented sentencing. Yep. Merchan already signaled that he would not sentence Trump to any punishment, let alone jail time, something the U.S. Supreme Court noted when it allowed the hearing to go forward over Trump's objections in a 5-4 decision by the turncoat fake conservative John Roberts and the big disappointment Amy Coney Barrett, who once again betrayed common sense and the law. Yeah, didn't make Friday's sentencing any less significant or embarrassing for Trump. During Friday's sentencing, Trump's tone was perhaps more subdued while speaking over a virtual connection, but he nevertheless railed for several minutes against everyone involved in the case, as he should. This is a railroaded case. It's all total BS. The judge focused on protections of office of the presidency. Yeah, whatever. And he enters office as a felon. He's not a felon. This is a bullshit conviction. Yep. Trump has been sentenced, but there will be appeals. That's what I said. Though the president-elect won't be penalized, he's made it clear he wants his conviction tossed. We're going to appeal anyway, just psychologically, because frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a judge that shouldn't have been on the case. Yep. There you go. Exactly right. Exactly right. So that's what's going to happen. A surreal finish to the case is what the French press agency says. Agence France Presse. Yep. Said it was once potentially one of the more dramatic sentencings in modern United States history, has ended in a banal way. It was, by many measures, a trial that New York had never seen before. A panel of citizen jurors finding real estate mogul guilty of business fraud. But it was anything but ordinary because when it comes to Donald Trump, the average routinely turns surreal. His criminal sentencing after conviction of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records caps a roller coaster of delays and legal proceedings that began when the Republican was a former president, ended Friday, 10 days before he becomes president again. Yep. Anyway, I was treated very unfairly. Thank you very much, Trump said. Yikes. Yeah. Anyway, so that's going to be the end of that nonsense, and it should have been the end of that nonsense. Utter nonsense. It's just not a wildfire. It's a park in the city. All the fires were human caused. All the destruction is from criminal incompetence. Well, I think that's probably true, but I don't have all the evidence yet. But it certainly points to that. Yep. And they keep calling it wildfires and climate change. Nope. Nope, it's not. It's negligence, malfeasance, ineptitude, and corruption are the reasons why the wildfires, so-called wildfires, are burning Los Angeles. Yeah, but if you believe in end of days, Los Angeles fires actually make a lot of sense. I can't believe we haven't got 100 likes. We had over 100 people here, and
that was easy.
We haven't got 100 likes. 88 people have given a like. So LA was tinder dry and fire hydrants were dry. Exactly. Newscomb is going to get roasted. Oh, I hope so, Tony. I hope so. Would you ever consider shaving beard into handlebars? Probably not, Tion. You mean the mustache like this? Like this? I think I'd look pretty silly with that. There you go, like that. But yeah, it's a consideration. These here, by the way, are still out to here, but those were down here. I keep trimming them up as well. So yeah, I'm probably going to go to a Van Gogh here, shrink it down to a Van Gogh soon. It's getting close to that. And then eventually I'll go back to a Clooney look. But the mustache, we'll see how it looks. Yep, they had no water in the hydrants. The fire department's budget was cut. Yeah, but PK, that's not the reason why. That's not the real reason why the fires are out of control. The reason the fires are out of control is people are living in densely populated areas that are not sustainable, with insufficient water supplies, building McMansions on hillsides where the water can't be pumped adequately. Then they removed multiple dams, which reduced the available water for the fire bombers to scoop in and get the water to come up. You know, these reservoirs were gone, so they had to travel further to get the water. The pumps were outdated, and they relied on the existing electrical system instead of having their own redundant power system, which is what you need. They're also underpowered. The claim by Karen Bass that these fire hydrants aren't designed to deal with this situation, that's bullshit. You got people who save their homes by getting out there with pumps and pumping water from their swimming pools and pumping water from storage and keeping the fires at bay and saving homes. A handful of people did that. If the fire department had the proper resources and the proper pumps were installed, and if people quit moving to such high density spots, then you would, I mean, look, I look at that Pacific Palisades, and you know what it looks like from a distance? It looks like the slums of Kenya. It looks like Alexandra in Joburg. That's what it looks like. Densely populated people right next to each other with no space between them. Fire leaps, fire leaps, fire leaps, fire leaps, fire leaps, fire leaps, and it spreads like wildfire. And there's nothing but great stuff in there to burn. This is human hubris, it's malfeasance, it's negligence, it's incompetence of the highest order. Bass is a moron, an absolute moron. Let's watch that interview again. I'm going to comment on this from yesterday. This is when she lands at the airport in Sky News. This is unbelievable. She is a complete idiot. Where's it at? Let me find this darn thing. Oh, by the way, before we do that, hang on a second. Let's do this. Now, before you hear this, I have said what you're going to hear from Donald Trump for years, that one of the major causes for these fires every year in Southern California is the piss poor forest management. The fact that they leave brush out there, they don't do controlled burns, they don't clean up the brush that shouldn't be allowed to accumulate and create tinder for a roaring inferno. That's one problem. People need to quit moving so closely together. They need to fix the fire hydrants so the system has adequate water to deal with this. They need to have reservoirs of water available in these hills and in these communities that the fire department can tap on. It's as simple as that. And they need to buy more aircraft that can put fires out. They don't buy the C-130s with the MAFs on them. The National Guard doesn't have them. Only North Carolina and one other state have them. That's idiotic. They don't buy the C-12, C-212s, whatever they are, from Canada. Canada Air builds with the little small ones that scoop up the water lakes and dump it. If they had a fleet of those, this never would have gotten out of hand. Now watch what Donald Trump has to say on the campaign trail 4 months ago or 5 months ago. This is what he said about California. So they're attacking Donald Trump on social media, saying all he's doing is complaining about Californians. Yes, because they don't listen. This is what Trump said. I've been saying this for years, but this is what Trump said. Here we go. Donald Trump, just a few months ago on the campaign trail.
And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border. And I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has. And the farmers up north are going to be able to use 100% of their land, not 1% of their land.
And that's what Donald Trump said 4 months ago. So Donald Trump was spot on. And they want to ignore it. They want to claim that that's not the case. They're liars. They're scumbags. That's what the political left do. Instead of dealing with the facts. And Newsom and Bass try to hide under their incompetence. So that's not what I wanted. Hang a second here, folks. Something's not right. YouTube is acting up. So that's Donald Trump. What he had to say about it a few months ago. Pablo says the fire. Well, there are definitely some arson going on here. So people making fun of the rainbow fire hydrants now. Probably. Yep, saw this. There's no thinking of the future. There's only thinking about the past. So that's a few months ago. Now let's go back to Donald Trump in 2018. And Gavin Newsom's in this picture here. This is Trump in 2018. Because they tried to blame on climate change then. And Trump just savaged them.
Does seeing this devastation, though, change your
This is Trump in 2018.
opinion at all on climate change, Mr. President?
No. I have a strong opinion. I want great climate. We're going to have that, and we're going to have forests that are very safe. Because we can't go through this every year. We go through.
He's right. We can't go through this every year. And we do because of California politicians' ignorance, negligence, and stupidity. So, yeah, we're going through it again. So that was 2018. Now let's find the Karen Bass one real quick here. So, by the way, these are aircraft right here. This is an aircraft that California deemed too expensive to buy. Okay? This is an air tanker. Check this thing out. Then they don't buy these. Look at how much water can be released from that thing. But no, they don't buy them. Yeah. Instead, we have little tiny Canada Air, two of them, two little Canada Airs that are down from Canada under contract every year. It's a joke. By the way, before we go any further, I love this. This one's great. This is a fantastic image here of Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom with the Cuban flag and the Cuban army with the star. That's brilliant. Anyway, let me get, I'm trying to find this video here still. Karen Bass. I had it yesterday. It's here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is great. So this is fantastic. Come on. I love this. This is Kelly Clarkson. We're talking about the, hang on a second, about the new fire chief when she became the fire chief in Los Angeles. And this is what is the most important thing to her. This is what she has to talk about. Kelly Clarkson. This,
a big glass ceiling here in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago on the first day.
The big glass ceiling. The glass ceiling. What a crock of manure, the glass ceiling. Yeah. Anyway, here we go.
Of Women's History Month, she was named the city's first female fire chief. Say that.
So what? What does that matter? How does that affect fires? How does that improve it? By the way, who's the lady wearing the that blue dress? Good Lord.
5 times fast. And that's not the only barrier she broke through, y'all. She's also the department's first openly gay leader as well.
Yeah, and how does that help fight fires? Openly gay leader, like I care. Listen to these barking seals applaud the fact that she's the first gay fire chief.
So let's welcome and congratulate soon-to-be Los Angeles Fire Chief Christy Crowley.
Yay! I'm a lesbian. I'm the first woman. Who cares? Who cares? What a bunch of nonsense. It doesn't mean you're qualified. It also doesn't mean you're not qualified. You can very well be qualified even though you're a lesbian or because you're a lesbian. But it's certainly not qualified because you're a lesbian. Give me a break. I'm still trying to find that thing. Where the heck is it at for the... There it is. She's at the airport. Oh, here she is. This is the most important thing for her. So this is... she's out... I guess this is during Pride. She's running around here uniform. This is highly inappropriate. In the military, you can't be doing political things. And whether you're gay, straight, bi, who cares? But if you're going to claim that promoting sexuality is not a political event, then you're full of it. This is political, and it's highly inappropriate. Look at her running around all this gay pride thing. This is so important to her. So important to her.
Its leadership has since changed. Chief Crowley is an openly gay woman now.
Who cares? Who cares if you should openly gay woman? I don't care. How does that put fires out? Nope. Doesn't put fires out. But that's what Los Angeles, the media, and the city of Los Angeles care about. Boy, we're dropping people like flies here, and I guess I don't want to hear about this. South Africans must be leaving. So here's Karen Bass. And this is how she was at the airport when Sky News reporter. Look, I don't like, gotcha interviews, but I mean, this is brilliant. Because there's no interview here. This woman just completely ignores the journalist because she can't be bothered because she doesn't have an answer. She spent 17 hours flying from Ghana to Los Angeles, and she doesn't know how to answer the questions. She also claimed that she was on the internet on her phone when she doesn't even know what an internet email address is. Internet addresses. She said you can find help at URL. Okay, URL, Universal Resource Locator.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Nothing to say today?
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today?
Absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today as we bring out an Irish accent here. Shut up, my God, it's a leprechaun who's asking the questions.
Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
I love that. Elon Musk says you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? That's the best. That is just priceless, man. Priceless, priceless. The mayor looks so woke. She looks so confused, Charles. Yeah, military has one job, protect the country. Exactly. The police have one job, public safety. The fire department has one job, two jobs, rescue and public safety. Yep. Can't send our firefights that side. We need them here. Yeah, Tony, not one word, nothing. Lack of forest management, says John Jarvis. Exact cause Australian fires. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those huge fires, which killed all of those. Well, I don't know if it's ones last year, but they killed a lot of koalas. A lot of koalas got wiped out. So here she is. She's all proud and tells you what her most important job is. So we'll do this. Her most important job is DEI. That's her focus. And, well, we need more. Less white guys. That's what we need. Less white guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you need the best qualified people. And if they happen to be white, then they happen to be white. Otherwise, shut up, lady. So anyway, let's get to that. So I'm getting myself back up on the screen. Here we go.
I'm super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy.
Oh, she's super inspired. What is she super inspired by?
Busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future.
Let's hear about her vision for the future of the Los Angeles Fire Department. This is from a couple years ago. You can tell by the wuss wearing his mask. So let's hear what is driving her. She's super excited about fire prevention.
One that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
Oh, the strategic plan isn't to improve competence of the fire department or response times or better service delivery or improved equipment or better training, but the 3-year strategic plan is diversity, which means exclusion. It means excluding white males. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So let's hear it.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? I say, I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 33.
It's never enough. So until there's no white men in the fire department, it won't be enough for this DEI hire. Look at this conflagration that's going on here. Wow, that's a previous one from years ago. Yep. Yeah. Can she even fight a fire? I have no idea. And I don't care. And it has nothing to do with her sexuality. It has nothing to do with her gender. It has everything to do with her worldview, which is warped to say the very least. She is a woke tard of the highest order. You know what? I'm going to make a medal. We're going to design a medal and we're going to award it. We're going to, we got the Mompar of the week, the Mompar of the month, Mompar of the year. We do that. We're going to come up with a woke tard medal. Here you go. Here's your sign. Stupid people should wear signs. That way you wouldn't ask them questions. Woke tards should wear necklaces with their decorations on them so you wouldn't approach them. Woke tards. Quality service is just not a consideration. Yep. How she even fought a fire? Yep. Californians need to hold all their corrupt politicians accountable. Quit voting. Yeah, they won't. These pilots fly water bombers, got a little pair of balls. Yeah, no, that is a ballsy operation. I mean, first off, you've got updrafts, you've got heat shearing, you've got flames leaping, you've got obscuration of the flight path, and that's, you got idiots now flying drones around running into these things. This is a deadly profession, and these guys have courage. It's unbelievable. I think it's amazing what they do. Yep. Do they even think? Do they even ask questions or research anything? No, I don't think so. Yes, fire bombers are badass. Yeah, they are, Chris. So the ice pilots of the Northwest Territories, that was a great show. And you see that in there, the fire bombers. So let me see. Ice pilots, Northwest Territories. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Ice pilots. And I want fighter. There we go. Let's see if that comes up. Buffalo Airways is what that's all about. Yeah, Joe takes a huge risk on a new firefighting plane. Yep. Yep. Water bombers. Fire pilots respond to wildfires by dropping water, fire retardant, and other fire suppression material from the aircraft. Water bomber pilots respond to emergency calls for firefights. They use P3 aircraft, D3, DC3, and they use these Canada Air ones too. Yep. All right. So, yeah, I took a huge risk on buying those fire. Here he goes. Test flying a firefighting consolidated Catalina. This ought to be interesting. Hang on a second here. I got an advert from football. Let me get this up on screen. Let me get my other one. Okay, we get past this ad. Skip the ad. It's a 43-minute video, so I don't want that. Just want to... Okay, I want the... Where's the damn plane at? This is the actual show. I don't want the show. I just want the fire bombers. I just want to show that for a minute. Come on. Is that it? It's not here. Come on, where are you at? Oh, there we go. Okay, here you go. This is the bit where they took a risk on buying it to fight and suppress fires. These are gutsy pilots, folks. So, all right, here we go. So, hang on a second. There we go. All right. I don't know, put the audio on because I get in trouble. But that's a Catalina from World War II. That's what it looks like. And so they got a hold of one of those. They want to use it for firefighting. There you go. There it is right there. Check it out. Check it out. Anyway, pretty cool stuff. So, yep.
Fire is expected to arrive any day. But when James takes a closer look at the engines,
it's not going so well. That engine didn't go so well. Anyway, there you go. So, an ad for FanDuel over there. I don't want FanDuel. All right, so that's pretty cool stuff. Ice Pilots in Northwest Territories. You can check it out sometime. It used to be, I think, on Discovery Channel. Justice is coming, and she is pissed. What is that? Got two crews here in Somerset West, Epic Pilots. They are. Yeah, maybe I should interview them there, Garrett, next time I come down. Maybe when I come to Somerset West, if you could do some advanced work on that, I'd like to interview the firefighting pilots. I assume they're flying out of Stellenbosch. That would be cool. Cool. No crop sprayers or just crop sprayers. Oh, crop sprayers are crazy. Yeah, it's a boring job. Yep. Paulie is here. Where the hell have you been? I've been talking about Los Angeles fires for all week, and I attributed this to the following, Paulie, to malfeasance, negligence, misconduct, and incompetence, and that I blamed it, as I have in the past, on the failure to clear brush, to do controlled burns, the failure to put adequate water reservoirs and tanks on hilly areas, as well as having a independent power supply system to the fire hydrant system that ensures that power remains there even when the power lines are out. Also, the fact that in these hills and these towns, they still have power lines that are above the ground. They should have been subterranean power lines. All of that played a role in this. And then finally, the hubris of human beings packing in their houses like Alexandria or the slums of Nairobi, right like this, boom, 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 right next to each other, no space between the fire leaps, the fire leaps, the fire leaps, the fire leaps. They want to blame it on the winds. They want to blame it on climate change. Those things have an effect to exacerbate a pre-existing problem that was man-made, that is a constant result of hubris of human beings. Paulie, what say you? You're a firefighter. That's my analysis, and I'm sticking to it. Paulie, yeah, they need the help you can get, but you're white male, so they don't want you. Not in Los Angeles. Paulie has a better job getting a job as a firefighter in South Africa than he does in Los Angeles. Yeah. 747 supertankers. I don't know. I've read about the DI infiltration. I have no more comments. Case rested. Agree with everything you mentioned. Okay, cool beans. There you go. See? Look at that. I'm not a firefighter, but I have common sense. I'm an analyst, and I do have some experience working with firefighters. But anyway, it's a whole other story. Yeah, so it doesn't take rocket science. And by the way, I've just played videos of Donald Trump saying essentially the same thing 4 or 5 months ago, and him making an argument about cleaning the brush up in 2018, and it wasn't done. Why? Because Sacramento, Newsom, and the state government collect paychecks. They don't do their job. All they do is come up with laws to oppress Californians. They get rid of felony charges for theft so that stores are robbed blind. They drive taxes up to unbelievably high levels. It all started in the 1970s with property taxes, and Prop 13 ended it, and then they just found a way to go around it, and they've destroyed that state. It was the golden state. It was the jewel in the crown of America, and it is a shithole cesspool now. So many ways. Fire hydrants are going to be repainted with multicolors. I don't know about that. Yeah, hey Ron, how's it going? Good to see you there, coming in from Bloemfontein. It's Friday, folks. A lot of people chilling right now, just hanging out on a Friday, and we're having a good time here. So I hope that things go well. To my new viewers from the USA who found my channel, shocking they found it, but I'm glad they did. Thank you. I guess we overcame a little bit of suppression. But let me take a look at, I don't want this inspiration. They're giving me AI to brainstorm here. I'm looking to see that Athol Trout video is not really going anywhere. That's a little disappointing. Come on. On YouTube, 495 views. That's a little disappointing. I would expect that to have 10 or 20,000, but whatever. We'll figure it out. So we're still not at 21,000 subscribers. We're close. We're 11 away now. Wow. First experience California last week. Such a shame that politicians ruined it. Great climate, beautiful place, but homeless tents everywhere. Yeah, there were no homeless in Los Angeles when I was there last time. None in San Francisco. I never saw a person, inject themselves with hypodermic needles in the business district of San Francisco until the last time I was there in 2018. Never saw a person dropping trousers and defecating on a sidewalk in the business district of San Francisco in broad daylight until I was there last time. I never had prostitutes who approach me walking out of an upscale hotel downtown in the business district until 2018. That wasn't San Francisco ever before. That is San Francisco now. It is a crap hole, to say the least, and they have destroyed it. And I don't understand their callous disregard. Look, I get the ANC. They don't care. They don't care how degraded the country comes, how far it reverts back. They don't care. But why do Californians not care? I don't understand it. Security guards at hotels and restaurants and nightclubs feels like Joburg. Exactly, Arctic. Never had that before. Never saw that. I never went anywhere in America that had security at nightclubs. Just wasn't the case. Never saw that before, but that's the case now. Yep. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry you had the experience, Arctic, but that's where we're at now. Melissa Hartfield says, Colonel Quiet, what do you think that started the fires? Melissa, I suspect it was arson. We know that at least a couple of these fires were arson. Maybe they all were. I don't know. They're talking about wildfires, but it's strange how not one conversation about wildfires talks about lightning strikes. How do wildfires start? Wildfires just don't start because, or the sun is burning the grass. That doesn't happen. The sun's rays aren't pinned into a spot to concentrate them to burn the grass. It isn't that. Lightning starts, or lava. There's no lava coming out there. But lightning is the primary cause of wildfires. There's no conversation about lightning. Not one. How do wildfires start? Now, I suspect, it's just like the Cape Town fire. Now, when the Cape Town fire, and by the way, I think that was one of my finest days as a journalist, the way I covered that story in the South African media neglected it. Paulie was in Cape Town. He called in he sent me images and videos from Cape Town, and then flew back up to Gauteng. And when he got off the plane, he called in and we had a conversation. And I used Twitter. I contacted a member of the council from the DA and got her views on what was going on and reported on that for hours that day. So, yeah, that was epic. And I don't know why I was telling that story. What's this? Sorry, I'm late. Do you think Newsom will? No. Oh, he's not the mayor. No. Newsom is the governor. He's not going to resign. No, he's so arrogant. He thinks he's going to be the next president. That's why he dropped out of the race. He knew that it was a losing proposition against Trump. He couldn't beat Trump. Nobody was going to beat Trump. And so he didn't burn all of his capital by entering this race and arguing for it. But he set himself up, along with Gretchen Whitlas and a few others like Josh Shapiro here in Pennsylvania, to be the future candidate for the Demon Rat Party. Newsom wants to be president. He is an empty suit. He's a slick Willie. He's a slimy character. The fact that Californians voted for him, look, they voted for Adam Schiff to be in the Senate over Steve Garvey. Steve Garvey is a wonderful human being, a patriotic American, a successful businessman, an incredible baseball player, a Hall of Fame legendary player and World Series champion, Steve Garvey, and just an all-American guy. And they voted for that scumbag, lying sack of horse manure, Adam Schiff, who is a pathological liar, who still, we're waiting for the proof. I have it in my hand. Donald Trump colluded with Russia. Really? Okay, where's it at there? Show it to us, Shifty Schiff. People voted for him to be in the Senate, so that scumbag is now sitting in the U.S. Senate with a vote, whether to confirm or deny the nominations of Donald Trump to his cabinet. The Californians are just idiots. They're idiots. Idiots. Yep. Not all of them, but too many of them. Well, that's what I just said. Next one. Remember they made the Terminator governor. Yeah, they did make him in a recall election. Standards have dropped dramatically. There are still some good ones, but Chris goes off. Heard that Gavin Newsom is Nancy Pelosi. That's correct. Yep. These fires are the catalyst for Newsom's campaign. Yeah, no, I think they are. He'll blame them on Donald Trump. He'll somehow blame the fire. They're already doing it. Newsom's out there blaming Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Who cares? You got a job to do. You're the governor. Trump isn't in California. He's not the president. Get off your ass and do something right now. Do something. Get more water bombers in here. What actions are the Los Angeles police taking right now to bring more water bombers in? What actions are they doing to secure more flame retardant? What actions are they doing to rotate more firefighters and get firefighters in from the rest of the country? What actions have they done to act? Where's the National Guard? The National Guard could transport water. The National Guard has water buffaloes. They could be digging these damn things up and driving them up there, truck after truck, up into the area, and they just stick the hose in and suck the water out. It's not efficient, but it works. Where's the National Guard? Why has Newsom not activated the National Guard? And if they have, why have they been in the news? This is a lack of vision. This is a lack of leadership. This is a lack of governance. This is what leftists do. They suck off the tea to people. The first Tesla cop car was in Logan, Ohio, called Fred. I followed Jason on many 8, 9-hour shifts. Jason's retired now. I have no idea what you're talking about there, Tony. You're saying the first police cruiser was that used a Tesla was in Logan, Ohio. I don't know if you know this, Tony, but I lived right next to Logan, Ohio, just a few miles away, and I served in the Ohio National Guard in Logan, Ohio. Gavin Newsom, yeah, okay. So I still see people are willing to walk in the fire. I would not. Yeah, it's crazy. Should have said, listen, we're putting politics aside and ask for help. Exactly what he should have done. But no, he wants to whine about Trump. And the left is doing it too. All these memes and attacks on Trump on Twitter, whining about Trump complaining, when millions of people are complaining, including Californians, about what's been done, especially people's homes have been lost. But they're on the left, they're out there trolling. Oh, it's Donald Trump. Screw Donald Trump. Forget about Donald Trump. What about Gavin Newsom? What about Karen Bass? Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you now the esteemed mayor of the city of Los Angeles, the city of angels, the Honorable Karen Bass. Madam Mayor, what actions are you taking to reduce the impact of this fire? Madam Mayor, did you in fact cut the fire department's budget by $17 million out of a less than $900 million budget? Mayor Bass, did you fund the homeless program in Los Angeles to the tune of $1.3 billion, which would be about $400 million more than you spent on firefighting in a desert? Wow. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Forget that the fire department chief is a lesbian. Who cares? Lesbians can serve and succeed, and females can be firefighters. Not all. It takes a lot of strength to be a firefighter, but they can. That's not the issue. That's not germane. But when the fire chief says, my first mission is to ensure that white men are cut out of the fire department. We got too many white men. Let's get rid of the white men. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah, Paulie. Does she know she's the mayor? That's like Joe. Does he know he's president? I forgot I was the president. I forgot I was the mayor of Los Angeles. Unbelievable. And Newsom, he's just an excuse machine. Remember Trump's son used to sleep with Kimberly Guilfoyle from Fox News? Kimberly Guilfoyle, now getting ambassador position, if I'm not mistaken. Kimberly Guilfoyle was married to gruesome Gavin Newsom when he was the mayor of San Francisco. Yeah, she slept her way through the political ranks, left and right. Anyway, wow. Should have bought more shares in State Farm last week. Why? Because they're canceling policies? Yeah. She seems like a South African mayor. Do they know that if they let white men do it, they would probably lose a few? This is a joke we need, man. Going to WhatsApp, you exclusive footage from LA Fire Department, LA Ops guy. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right. So I got some exclusive footage here now on WhatsApp. Thank you for that, Paulie. Let me take a look at this. I don't know. Really? Is it in a group? I don't see anything from you. Last thing I got from you is 1 January, Paulie. Which group? Where'd it go? I just saw Paulie's comment. It disappeared. Oh, there. Oh, he just sent it. Dude, that was really fast. Okay, hang on. I got to save all these things. Okay, let me save them real quick. Save as. Okay, come on. Boom. Save as. And I'll show each of these. Okay, thanks for that. Cool. Oh, exclusive footage. I'll put this in a video. Oh, this will be cool. I'll put it all together and make a video about this. I'm so tired, man. Lots going on. Oh, that's an image. Okay, so, all right, so here we go. All right, thank you for that. Boy, I like your avatar. You've changed it around a little bit. Okay, downloads. Let's get back to that. Okay, so here's some exclusive footage of what's going on here. All righty, let's do this. All right, here we go. This is ballsy. This is gutsy. Wow, that's pretty gutsy flying there. You get next to that, you know, could easily lose visibility and go down. That's pretty crazy. Let me get the next one up here. Wow. This is pretty wild footage here. Okay, let me see how long this is. 33 seconds, okay. Yeah, you know what this does for me? It makes me want to become a helicopter pilot. I mean, I passed that opportunity up earlier in life when I was qualified to do it, and I just love helicopters. They're just incredible. All right, so here's the next one. This is great exclusive footage, Paul. I will make a video when I'm done here. That's so much for my break today, but we'll make exclusive video footage, and I'll give some of my analysis. I'll throw it on top of the video. If you hear those winds, it's insane. It's a place with livestock. You can see the water troughs down there. That one's kind of boring. That one's kind of boring. So, yeah, World War II pilot would say that's impressive. Try doing a flak. Good point. That's funny. All right, so here we go. Here's the next one. These helicopter pilots are working their butts off. Okay. And yeah, and look, Arctic says it's not that impressive. You just fly upwind. Yeah, that's true, but wind changes direction like that. That's why it's gutsy. Visibility can disappear in a heartbeat. You know that. Just because you're fixed wing. Now, there's a major problem with using these helicopters in this fashion. Number one, it's inefficient. There's not sufficient water on these aircraft or retardant put in there. You can see it pumped in. There's no belly tanks, so you just see it underneath there mounted. That's not a lot of water. That's number one. It takes time with those small hoses to pump those things. The Canada airplanes that skim across the lake and fill up the belly of the aircraft and close the doors and take off, they get so much more water, and they can do it so much quicker as long as the water source is nearby. This is desperation. They're working in desperation. Unfortunately, strong winds disperse the retardant and makes it less effective. Wind is a devil there. Yep. Yeah, that's why you got to get as close as you can. I wish I could share what my mate has to say about this debacle. Paulie, I'm going to guess that it's even more severe than what I said. But everything I said, if I make that claim in a video, I'm not going to be wrong, am I, Paulie? What I said is true. I'm going to be fine. I'm on firm ground in my analysis. Yep. If I'm not, let me know. Okay. Brave as hell, but that must be like pissing the wind. Exactly. With that so little water on, this is desperation there. Yeah, he says I'm bang on. This is absolute desperation. These helicopters, and God bless them, but it's not going to get the job done. It's in absolute desperation. Here's an image from one of them, and you can see the fire. Now these are a lot of places that haven't been hit, it looks like. So let's take a look at this really quickly here. Hang on. Here's one image right there from the cockpit. Look at that. Some really upscale homes there. You can see on that ridge line there, those are huge houses, swimming pools, multi-level complexes, and then all the ones tightly packed inside there. That looks like the Palisades fire, that one there. I believe that's what that is, the Palisades fire. So here's one more image. And this looks like Nagasaki after we bombed it with a nuclear weapon. Look at this. This is insane. Look at that, folks. That is total devastation. I mean, everything's gone. Look at that. Every structure is completely razed. The trees survive, but every structure is gone. Look at that. That is absolutely insane. It looks like Dresden after we firebombed it. Your cousin survived a helicopter crash. People think it's easy when things go wrong. No. I was in aviation. I know very well about helicopters. That's the last place you want to be. I'd much rather be in a light prop, light wing aircraft. At least I have a chance there. I could try a water landing, which is not ideal. You got to have no activity going on, or try a highway landing or something like that. But man, no, give me a Piper or something like that to land in. Helicopter, unless you're close to ground, you better kiss your. Look, they do what's called auto rotation. They disengage the drive and let the blades spin down slowly, but you hit hard. Officially too stupid and too cowardly to be a helicopter pilot, says Arctic. FEMA should mobilize all the fixed-wing Boeings, McDonnell, and Embraer planes with high-capacity Hawaii fires now. Yeah, exactly, Paulie. Exactly. But they won't spend the money because it's not sexy. Don't do it every day. Your buddy has an 85-horsepower Yodel. Took me flying for breakfast there. Wow, Tony. Okay. Yep. All right. So, cousins, yeah. The best use of this helicopters maybe for preventing fire spray, maybe. Yeah, no, I think, Charles, yeah, their best use is on the margins where fire is trying to leap from place to place to put it out there because it can be effective. The fire leaps over to another house that's a couple blocks away, and these helicopters come in and put that out. Yeah, that works. Yep. 52 US billion lost. No, they're talking 150 billion now, Paulie. 150 billion, and all these celebrities lost their homes, and they're pissed. And the celebrities have influence in California. Whether they should or not is another story, but they do. It's pretty sad. It's really, really sad. So, wow. I'm going to use that footage. I wish you had some more, Paulie, but that'll be enough for me to do it. So, yep. And I'll use that footage. So I'll get rid of this Louis Liebenberg thing. I don't need that up there anymore. Okay. So, yep. We're still 11 short of 21,000. Americans build houses from wood, pulp, and glue. So yes, it burns quicker than a tree. Okay. Arctic, yes and no. The vast majority of homes are built from drywall and from wood. That is correct these days. However, many of our structures are built from brick and stone. Many. But that's for rich people. Helicopter's navigation started malfunctioning, so his co-pilot died. He survived. Wow, that sucks. That sucks. Good night, Vilma. Maybe the fires will make them leave the USA. I doubt it. Plywood. There's no plywood in my house. Nope. No plywood in my house. Nope. None. A lot of drywall, but no plywood. Yep. Yep. But yeah, this isn't a structure I would have built. I would have designed it differently, and I would have built it out of brick and stone. Yep. But I'm not a multimillionaire, so Jeff Bezos can do that, but I can't. Yeah, mostly for commercial buildings. You're correct. You're correct, Arctic. But wealthy people build their homes with brick and mortar. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, I've got faux brick, fake brick on the outside, but I don't have true brick. Anyway, wow, we've been doing this for a while, folks. We are almost 3 hours. I had no idea. Friday, that's a long broadcast. So a lot of people have been here. I see people giving up because they're tired. I appreciate that. Maybe the fires will make them leave USA now. I don't think so. Plastic wrap. There's a plastic wrap here. Are you talking about vinyl siding? Okay. If you can't clear the fire's fuel ahead of its path and that wind, you're waiting. Exactly. That's the problem. You did see that hillside where the top was bare, where they'd stripped all the trees off at some point. I don't know if that was for a fire break because there was nothing built up there. It might have been a fire break. Black Sheep TV show. Plane had that style wings. Yep. Okay. Water barriers. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's that's fascinating. Paulie, thanks for sending that footage. I'm going to use that. Respect the people in dangerous jobs that save people. Yeah, exactly, PK. That's why, I mean, police, EMT, doctors, nurses, military, firefighters, all deserve people's respect. They put their lives on the line every day. They risk a lot to save other people and to protect other people. And people take it for granted. I don't take it for granted. We have a volunteer fire department here locally. And when there's a fire, every fire department in the area responds. There was the house up the street caught fire. They had an electrical problem, and the electricians were in the house when it happened. So they called 911. And we had, I think, 9 different fire departments respond from as far away as 30 kilometers. We had pump trucks here. We had ambulances here. We had hook and ladders here. Everybody responded. It was unbelievable. Now, one might make the argument that the reason they respond is because there aren't that many fires, and you want to get the hours and experience in a fire. And that may be true, but it also shows a sense and spirit of solidarity amongst our firefighters. I think all but 1 or 2 of those fire departments were volunteers. So there were people that have jobs, they have lives. It was a daytime fire. It wasn't on the weekend. And so when I was broadcasting, if you remember that, I said, there's a lot of sirens. Let me go out and see what's going on. And I'm like, there's a fire out here. It was last year. Remember that? About a year ago. And it was during the daytime, maybe over a year ago, year and a half ago now. Those people just moved back into their house. That took that long to get the fire damage out, even though it was contained pretty quickly. So fire's nasty. It leaves horrible smells that just never go away. But yeah, so all these fire departments respond. It was amazing. Unbelievable. But like I said, mostly volunteer fire departments. I considered becoming a firefighter, but now with the hip bothering me, it's just not practical. A lot of training. I was going to pay for the training myself. There's a local university nearby, a Christian university called Messiah. It was Messiah College. It recently became Messiah University. And they have training courses to qualify to be volunteer firefighters. We have a real problem. People aren't volunteering for anything in the country anymore, and we're losing things. So we're losing fire departments all over, consolidating because not enough volunteers. It's tough. Yeah. Cape Town people far more receptive to the fire department than Joburg people were. Amazing how the views of the firefighters differ. Yeah, no, I'm sure. Well, if you get treated fairly with respect, it can be a lot different than if you're treated like crap. And remember, I interviewed that private fire service there in Joburg. That was fascinating for those of you who watched that. Let me see. When was that? Hang on a second. So fire. F-I-R-E. Okay, come on. Come on, YouTube. Come on. It's not here. Did I not publish that? Yeah, private fire service in South Africa. There we go. 18 June of last year. Yeah. There you go. Okay. All right, let me see. Come on. Oh my gosh, YouTube. Okay, it's responding so slowly. Justin's story. Who the hell's Justin? Clear choice. Come on, get to it. All right, here we go. I can't get to the volume, folks, so don't give me crap. There it is.
No, I'm just kidding. In the last program, we had interviews and we talked about being in Mpumalanga and the Northern Cape, so I figured the Eastern Cape would work this time. But I'm here with, I'll make sure I get this correctly, Wynand Engelbrecht.
Wynand Engelbrecht, yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
So not too bad. The Engelbrecht's easy for me because I got German, but the Wynand always throws me off. It's just like Wynand du Toit. So he is here. You're the chief of his fire service, is that correct?
Yes.
So we're talking about private fire service in South Africa. And can you tell me a little about the organization and what the need for it is? I presume that there was probably...
Anyway, so I covered this story, and Paulie knows about that story. We talked about that privately. So, oh, come on, YouTube. All right, this is just insane. YouTube has got a problem now. I don't know what's going on with it, but it keeps locking up tabs. It's nothing else. Not my browser. Yeah, there's something going on with YouTube. It's been going on for a couple weeks. But anyway, as we live in a thatch house, I have great respect for veld fires. Yeah, house is nearly burnt down because of up the road decided to burn rubbish. Oh, geez, an idiot when the wind was blowing away from him. Okay. Yeah, no, that's the problem with stuff like that. Yes, most do, but there are a lot of people who just don't pitch up. Fire ups, most of the staff have now left for the biggest security company, ADT. Wow. Okay, all right. Big politics with private fire departments. All right, thanks for that, Paulie. That's an update from last year. Crop duster Air Force can carry a ton load and ignore runway. Your driveway is the runway. Can fly under the wires alongside the road. We never miss. Exactly, Richard. Paulie has actually gone abroad on rescue missions before. I don't want to disclose where it's at because I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but he has. Paulie has got some great experience and done some amazing things. Yep. Anyway, so... All right, folks, let's wrap it up here, okay? I appreciate 62 people still being here, 107 likes, the super chat money that came in. I'm very grateful for that. But I do need to take a break, and I need to take advantage of the exclusive footage I have now to do a video about the Los Angeles fires, okay? All right. Also need to do a short video about Trump, no conviction, no sentencing, nothing coming out of the sentencing. All right, cool. I'm going to take a short break, and then I'll get back to that stuff. Go check my mail, get some fluid in me because I'm getting dehydrated. Anyway, you guys, fantastic. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for the questions, the conversation. Tomby, if you're still around, your trolling was unnecessary. If you got a real question, you're welcome to join us here. All right. Not with Canada. It was wildfires. Yeah, okay. Been major disasters, earthquakes, and hurricanes. Yep. All right. Have a good night, folks. Don't forget, 4 games tomorrow. Rugby Ascendant, and they start early with the Stormers and go all the way through to the evening, late in the evening, South Africa time. And then on Sunday, it's the Cheetahs. All right. God bless. Have a good day. Whoops. I'm bouncing my remote from my studio lights. And we'll see you hopefully with my other videos. Check me out. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the footage, Paulie. You all take care. God bless.